Hey. Oh. Hey, y'all. Yeah. So, hey, y'all. Shout out to everybody that's joining me. I'm so glad because it is Thursday and I know everybody is at work. I'm actually off and for a little while I recover. How's it going? Hey, Sammy, EJ. Hey, beautiful EJ, Empress, Copper Aborigines, James Davis. Thank you. Yeah, I like the jazz. When I was little, believe it or not, probably all of us, when my mom, she used to play the jazz, playing Nancy Wilson. And when we little, we don't understand that music and the vibe. A lot of us didn't. I know I didn't. And I would just hate it because I wanted to hear the Jackson 5 so we could dance. And she would put that music on in the house, and we didn't understand it. It was like, dang, why she always got to play that song on a record player? Because we had a record player back then and a hi-fi. And I was like, God, I don't want to hear that. We wanted to hear the Michael Jackson or whatever the latest songs that was out. Now, she had the records, but she wouldn't play them. She wanted to put on Nancy Wilson. Oh, my goodness. And just the jazz music. And I was like, God, we hated it. And she put it on real live when we cleaning up because Saturday was clean up day in the house. It was mopping and waxing floors and the jazz music. And I'm like, God, if she put on the faster music, we could clean up faster. That was not going down in our house. But today, now that I'm her age, now I understand it. I do not want to hear all that bullshit music. I can't stand it. I'm like, how do you even concentrate with today's, they could call it music today. I don't call it music. I call it headache shit. So the older I get, that music that they play today, or the Beyonce, oh God, I can't do it. I said, okay, my ass old now because I can't stand it. But there be chicks on Facebook my age, y'all. Listen, they be like this. And I'd be like, I know she got AARP offers. I know she got them. Because if I get them, she got them. They be on there like they young daughters like this. Posing. And they be in a nightclub. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. But they be like this on Facebook in the club. All right, okay. We call them nanas in the bar. Nanas be in the bar like this. They my age. I don't give a damn. You a nana. They be. I'm like, where's her daughter? I see her, but where's her daughter? Because I know damn well her daughter in her 30s, 40s. Okay, because mine's in her 30s, and she out in the club talking about, come on out, y'all. We live up in here. I'd be like, now I know when I was 25, she was 33 or 35 when I was younger hanging in the club. She was like 30 something. So now they still in the club like this. Yeah, we up in here. I'm like, come on down, girl. We down here chilling. I'm like, okay. At this hour, I tell my friends, I be typing in their little Facebook messages. At this hour, I'm in the bed reading books. I got on my footsies and my nightie, and I'm reading the book or watching YouTube. I'm not coming out. It's too cold. I'm not coming out no club. I haven't been in one seriously since, I don't even remember the last time I walked up in the club with my heels on. I don't want to go either. I don't. Not me. I don't even remember. I think the 90s is the last time I went to the clubs. I'm keeping it a buck. You won't catch my ass in nobody club. I don't even like going to restaurants. I don't. And Willie get mad. I don't care. I don't like restaurants because people can't cook. Well, how I'm supposed to take you out? I could cook my own damn food because they ain't gonna make it like I like it anyway. And don't call yourself taking me no soul food restaurants because the yams taste nasty as hell. I gotta go home and cook it right. So no, I'm funny. I'd rather eat at home. I ain't going to nobody club. I'm good. Maybe I should just sorry, but today's segment is going to be a little long, you guys. Hey, Will. So it's going to be pretty long. And yes, our boy won. My boy, anyway, Trump, he won. And I have to say that I'm very happy. And I hope they have the House and the Senate. That would be really great. Because to me, I call it a fresh start. And the reason I'm glad he won. And I really hope that Congress is and does have the full House and Senate. Last I checked, they're still counting, but I hope they have the House and the Senate. That would be nice. Yeah, jazz club would be nice, Copper. That's cool. Sitting down, communicating. That's fine. But all that other stuff, I ain't waiting to 50 Cent in no club. I'm not waiting for 50 Cent to come and meet me at the club. He could come to the jazz club and sit down and talk to me. Hey, Demita. Hey, y'all. But anyway, this is going to be a long segment. I can tell you right now. Bear with me today because my acid reflux is up, but it's my fault because I ate some things that I wasn't supposed to eat. And I said, I know I'm going to suffer for this, and I am. My acid reflux has been triggered. I ate too many damn grapes. Hey, Monty. Hey, baby. Hey, Bucky. Hey, everybody. Enots. Oh, man, I love y'all. Lou. Hey, Lou, Arnest. Lulu. Okay, I think I said hi to everybody. Jagger, James, everybody out up in this piece. Anthony Lowe. Yeah. Hey, Frida. Lady Moon. Rodney. Hey, y'all. Love y'all. Demita, baby. Don't worry, Demita. I'm not meeting 50 Cent nowhere. I wouldn't tell you anyway, Demita. I'm not going to tell you if I'm meeting 50 Cent somewhere. Can't do that. Hey, James. So, it's going to be a long segment. And I do hope that they have both the House and the Senate, because I look at it as a fresh start. All right. The Democratic Party, the people have spoken. Our people have overwhelmingly decided not to vote Democrat and to give it a chance. Give the Republicans a chance. We're going to go through the history because we didn't even know. I didn't even know. A lot of us didn't know. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of us didn't know that our people originally were the Republican Party, and we stood for the Republican mindset. So what I want to do today is something that our leaders and our families should have educated us on. And it's important that we know about the Republican Party, because for so many years, people like myself, Candace, we were really hardcore Democratic fighters. I was a Democratic hardcore. I was brutal. But I did it blindly but I didn't know it was blindly. And I fought for Democrats. Ooh, I stopped fighting for them after Obama left office. I swear, my governor in Connecticut, Malloy, I lost so much sleep fighting for him to win. And granted, now, don't get me wrong, I still love Governor Malloy, Daniel P. Malloy. I still do. I will never stop loving Governor Daniel P. Malloy. I think he's a great man, a great person, and he has a compassionate heart, and he's very understanding. But I really had enough because the one thing that I've learned in my life about the Democratic Party is when they get in office, oftentimes, the governor don't know what's going on in the agencies that they appoint people to manage. Like, they don't know what goes on in the different state agencies. And I'm speaking any state. I'm not speaking my state. I'm speaking any state. They don't know. And they are well kept from what's going on in agencies. Hey, Dre, until you literally walk up and tell him or her that. Because oftentimes staff members keep that information from the governor. You have to really, if you ever go to a governor's event, you got a corner, and that's how I was. I'm sorry. It was very difficult to get to governors close up. But me, I played it slick. But I really, I played it slick, and I know the governor, my governor, Malloy, and his wife's twin sister, great people, and his kids. Okay. Yeah, there was issues, family, but who doesn't have them? Whatever. I don't care. But if I wanted to, it was funny too. If I wanted to speak to the governor, my governor of my state, y'all know I was a little bold heifer. I would go to one event that he's invited to, and I would want to get up and talk to him. And he has all his Secret Service men was around and stuff, but Governor Malloy wasn't the kind of governor that was not approachable. Everybody knew he was very open with the public, and whoever wanted to come up to him, could talk to him. But me, it would be funny because his staff would say, you know what, you got to corner him because first of all, he got long ass legs and he walked fast. So you got to catch him. And he did. He walked so damn fast. Because he was tall and he walked fast. So I said, okay, here's my chance. I'm gonna go and cat corner him. So we was in a room, like a ballroom setting, and I really wanted to ask him a question. I forgot what the damn question was. It was something to do with education and the literacy tests of kids in our community not being able to pass. They couldn't read when they got out of high school, and they couldn't even pass the test to join the armed services, something to that extent. And I ran up to him and cat a corner. He couldn't get out. So he was up against the wall like this. I said, I got a question. It was funny. And I know everybody like, what the hell is going on? And I caught a corner. He was in the corner of the wall, literally. You know how you have the corner wall? And I had him pinned up. He was pinned up to the wall. And I asked him. But those were the good times when I was in the Democratic Party. It was fun and funny. But anyway, it's going to be a long segment today because I have slides that I got to read. And I want to go through the Republican history from the 1700s all the way up till today. And it's going to be a lot of reading. So get your coffee, get your tea. I understand a lot of you are probably at work, but you could listen in because I'm going to do a lot of reading. And I may take some bathroom breaks because I'm detoxing so this acid could get out of me and stop hurting my stomach because I was a bad girl eating stuff that I shouldn't have ate. But I'm detoxing. I can't even eat no food right now. I got to get all of this out of me. So what I want to go through is what our community leaders people like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, like they're not my leaders because they're not from my damn state. Okay. But what I want to do is teach you about the mindset of the Republicans. And I think by you hearing their mindset, a lot of us are going to relate to their perspective of how our country should be run. We were, or we come from, a lot of us come from, and we were born, like I said, we were born until we were Democrats as a people in the inner cities because we were considered poor. We lived in low income housing, and we just always heard negativity about the Republican Party. Okay. And that had to do with Democrats, Christian leaders, whoever was considered a leader in our community, even if we didn't go to their congregations, churches, and whatever. But they would guide us on who to vote for. And we never really took it upon ourselves to say, I exercise a right that you have. So we were always persuaded to vote Democrat. But we never got positive results. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The low income housing, the cheap style life housing in our urban communities, keeping us from moving in better areas, all that kind of stuff. So the social programs destroyed us. Our people can't see it because their mindset is stuck in the way the Democrats set up life for our people. I mean, literally, I remember back in the 70s when, our people were having babies just so they could stay on a few years longer on welfare systems. And they did it purposely. And they began to learn, the politicians began to learn that this is not good. They're making it a career of being on welfare benefits, social programs, all that kind of stuff. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm in here lecturing and teaching about the Republican Party and how their perspective has always been the same and has not changed. And when you learn their perspective, you are now able to compare it to the Democratic perspective, and you're able to visually see what they've been doing to you all your lives or all our lives. The same behavior that Democrats exercise during political campaigns is the same behaviors they exercise in corporate offices. The discrimination, the bad management, the people from the top don't help you. They don't see things your way. Always on management side, they never evaluate right. All these things that happen to you in both public and private sector. Whereas it's bad. It's bad. It's very bad. So what I want to do is educate you on the Republican mindset, which I feel good about myself at this point because I voted for Trump all 3 times. I was really hurt when he lost the second run, but he's here back again now. And so let's get into educating you about the history of the Republican Party. And I got all this information from the Britannica because I think the Britannica gave, a great condensed history about the Republican Party. Hey, Amani. The original I Am Pure Love. So let's get it. Let me get the slides up. Boing. And it's going to be a lot of reading, you guys. So I know you can't always stay, but you could just listen in and read and hear the history. So let's go. I'm gonna turn my camera on and off, but let's get it. And try it, get your tea, your coffee, and try to listen in because I want you. It's like going back in time because we were always taught negative things about the Republican Party. And we need to learn. We need to learn. When I'm reading this history about the Republican Party, you're going to learn how, if you have an open mind, you're going to now see how much control the Democrats had over your minds and your thoughts. So let's get it. So here's a little picture from back then. So, history of the Republican Party. Republican Party in the United States, one of the two major political parties, the other being the Democratic Party. During the 19th century, which is the 1800s, the Republican Party stood against the extension of slavery to the country's new territories and ultimately for slavery's complete abolition. During the 20th and 21st centuries, the party came to be associated with I cannot pronounce this word right, laissez-faire capitalism, low taxes, and conservative social policies. The party acquired the acronym GOP, widely understood as Grand Old Party, in the 1870s. The party's official logo, the elephant is derived from a cartoon by Thomas Nast and also dates from the 1870s. I hate reading past words without getting an understanding of what they are. So listen. Laissez-faire capitalism. Laissez-faire capitalism is an economic theory that advocates for minimal government intervention in the economy. The term laissez-faire is French for leave alone. Leave alone. In a laissez-faire capitalist system, the government's role is to protect individual rights, while the market is left to be guided by supply and demand. Characteristics of laissez-faire capitalism. Okay, these are the characteristics. Limited government involvement. The government should not regulate business, set prices, or impose taxes or tariffs. Can y'all agree with that? Can y'all agree with that? I can agree with that. That the government involvement, the government should not regulate business, set prices, or impose taxes or tariffs. This is the thought of the right. I can agree with that. I don't think they should. Somehow, the Democrats were able to convince us that you should. So now let's get it. Market driven. The market should be free to determine the best products, prices, and wages. A business that uses market knowledge, customer needs, and customer desires to inform its strategy and products. A market driven business is customer focused, understands the market, and is aware of its competitors. Individual rights. The government's role is to protect individual rights, not regulate business. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Don't tell me how to run my damn business. Seriously. I think that's too much control. Seriously. I don't like nobody telling me how to run my damn business. We tell that to our kids too. Like, say, like you own a business, right? Or own a restaurant, and your child coming there telling you how to run your damn business. And then you tell them, like, boy, mind your damn business. You want to run a business, get your own damn business. That's the same attitude you should have with the government. I'm keeping it a buck. But let's get it. And now here's some of the criticisms of laissez-faire capitalism. Income inequality. Laissez-faire economics can lead to wealth disparities and income inequality. A lack of regulation can allow few people and companies to gain wealth and control the means of production. So, okay, let me ask you this. When reading this, if I open up a business, I'm just making this up. If I open, and I could be wrong in this, if I open my own business and I'm selling pies, right? And my pies are banging, right? And so everybody in the community is loving my pies, and in my personal community loves my pies, right? And they love them so much. My pies are so famous that people from other municipalities is starting to come and purchase my pies. And now it's getting even bigger because people from other states is calling me up, asking me if they could purchase a few of my pies and overnight them to them. And so now, is it my fault because I'm successful and selling my pies and helped me to become wealthy, because other people's pies seem to taste nasty, like Patty LaBelle's pies? Is that your fault? Why is it an issue? Because I'm making a whole bunch of money off my pies, and somebody in another municipality is hating because mine tastes better than theirs, and people's favoring to buy my pies. I could be using this as a wrong analogy, right? So what is the damn wealth disparity? You mad and you hating because somebody pies taste better than yours? I don't know. Sergeant King, Copper, I could be wrong with using that analogy, but I'm just using that because that's what it sounds like to me. Lack of regulation. Saying you can, no, that ain't right. To me, if you're going to start now trying to regulate on how, because I'm making good money and I'm not leaving room for Betty Jean, whose pies taste nasty, you're not protecting my right. Your attitude should be, well, I can't help it if, she's making good pies. She hired a bunch of people in her little pie factory to make them, and y'all hating. So I'm just using that as an example. Hateration, because Democrats are haters. Monopolies. It can lead to monopolies that charge higher prices and limit supply. I don't know about all that. Human emotions. Markets aren't always driven by logic, and laissez-faire economics doesn't take natural human emotions into account. Like I said, don't get mad because my pies taste better than Patty's. It's not about now you're emotional because you can't make a good sweet potato pie like Sister Bethy. Look, I ain't got time for all that. Okay. Market instability. Laissez-faire economics can lead to market instability as seen in the 1929 market crash. Why? What? That was the problem. It was some hateration because certain communities wasn't suffering from the market crash. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Oklahoma was booming until they got bombed out. I'm just keeping it a buck. Sounds to me like they got to take up for hateration. So you taking up for hateration rights because somebody can't make pies, and somebody was making some banging pies over there in Oklahoma and Wall Street. I'm just using crazy analogies. Doesn't protect the weakest in society. Oh, doesn't protect the weakest in society. Who weak? Laissez-faire economics doesn't inherently protect the weakest in society and can lead to poverty and economic imbalances. Okay. I'm not, I don't, okay, here's what I'm going to say about this, you guys. You're only weak in society because I don't know if it's, okay, Sergeant King, weakest or lazy. Exactly. Exactly. Your businesses is growth is what you put into it. Some could be lazy. Cause see, back in the 80s and 90s, I used to get so upset. I'm gonna use modern day words. A black restaurant will open up in the community and they start off with banging food. Oh my goodness, their food be so good. And then it lasts about 3 months. All of a sudden, it start tasting nasty. Because from what I noticed in our community, black restaurants don't stay consistent. If Betty Jean cooking the collard greens, it's going to come out good. But now they're going to hire Lucy May, whose collard greens taste nasty. They're not consistent with their cooking. So therefore, the business starts to fade down. You start to lose interest in going there, and people stop supporting it because it don't taste like it used to. The pork chop was fried too damn hard. Lucibel can't chew your damn pork chop because her false teeth, and they cutting her gums. But 3 months ago, she was tearing the pork chop up. So this is the way I'm seeing this. And laissez-faire capitalism doesn't represent the interests of society. Laissez-faire economics may only cater to the majority or the affluent class and may not equally distribute public goods. Bullshit. I'm sorry, bullcrap. I'm not buying that. So no. I don't have a problem in today's society with laissez-faire capitalism. I think the government needs to stay out of how you run your business. Now, if you're talking about the cleaning of the business, being up to building code, yeah, from that perspective, yes. But all the other stuff is extra. You need to meet building codes. And I feel that you do need to have some good health going on. Cleaning, in your restaurant. Seriously. Personally, there's one issue I have with restaurants. Don't put the goddamn table next to the bathroom. I don't want to smell nobody's poop while I'm eating. And people be doing that because they so greedy for money. That should be against the code. Your bathroom should be nowhere near tables. That should be a law in every restaurant. I mean, I understand Lula Mary don't have no gallbladder. So when she eat food she ain't supposed to, she gotta immediately go to the bathroom. Look, the bathroom shouldn't be next to anywhere where anybody's eating. That should be a law. Right. Yearly inspections, they need to have that. That kind of care for public community. Yeah. But don't tell me, don't get mad and start hating because the restaurant's making my restaurant, okay, is making more money than McDonald's and Burger King. Oh, hell no. Hey, Queen Mai, that's not my problem. If my little restaurant that's sitting on the corner that seats 100 people comfortably is making more money than McDonald's and Burger King, don't hate government, mind your business. Stay out of it. That's my attitude. What y'all think? I don't know. So let's keep it going. So now we're getting into the birth of the Republican Party through Reconstruction period. All right. Reconstruction is the 1860s. So let's read about it. The term Republican was adopted in 1792 by supporters of Thomas Jefferson, who favored a decentralized government with limited powers. I'm cool with that. Although Jefferson's political philosophy is consistent with the outlook of modern Republican Party, his faction, which soon became known as the Democratic Republican Party, ironically had evolved in the 1830s into the Democratic Party, the modern Republican Party's chief rival. The Republican Party traces its roots to the 1850s when anti-slavery leaders, including former members of the Democratic, Whig, and Free Soil parties, joined forces to oppose the extension of slavery into the Kansas and Nebraska territories by the proposed Kansas-Nebraska Act. At meetings in Ribbon, Wisconsin in 1854 and Jackson, Michigan, July 1854, they recommended forming a new party, which was duly established at the political convention in Jackson. At their first presidential nomination convention in 1856, the Republicans nominated John C. Fremont on a platform that called on Congress to abolish slavery in the territories, reflecting a widely held view in the North. Although ultimately unsuccessful in his presidential bid, Fremont carried 11 northern states and received nearly 2/5 of the electoral vote. During the first 4 years of its existence, the party rapidly displaced the Whigs as the main opposition to the dominant Democratic Party. In 1860, the Democrats split over the slavery issue, as the Northern and Southern Whigs of the party nominated different candidates, Stephen Douglas and John Breckinridge, respectively. The election that year also included John Bell, the nominee of the Constitutional Union Party. Thus, the Republican candidate, Abraham Lincoln, was also able to capture the presidency, winning 18 northern states and receiving 60% of the electoral vote, but only 40% of the popular vote. By the time of Lincoln's inauguration as president, however, 7 southern states had seceded from the Union, and the country soon descended into the American Civil War, which was in 1861 and 1865 through 1865, which then began the Reconstruction. But let's get it. In 1863, Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared slaves in rebelling states to be forever free and welcomed them to join the Union Armed Forces. The abolition of slavery would, in 1865, be formally entrenched in the Constitution of the United States with the adoption of the 13th Amendment. Because the historical role played by Lincoln and the Republican Party in the abolition of slavery became to be regarded as their greatest legacy. The Republican Party is sometimes referred to as the Party of Lincoln. The prolonged agony of the Civil War weakened Lincoln's prospects for the re-election in 1864. To broaden his support, he chose as his vice presidential candidate Andrew Johnson, a pro-Union Democratic senator from Tennessee, and the Lincoln-Johnson ticket subsequently won a landslide victory over Democratic George B. McClellan and his running mate George Pendleton. Following Lincoln's assassination at the end of the war, Johnson favored Lincoln's moderate program for the reconstruction of the South over the more punitive plan backed by the radical Republican members of Congress. Stymied for a time by Johnson's vetoes, the radical Republicans won overwhelmingly control of Congress in 1866 elections and engineered Johnson's impeachment in the House of Representatives. Excuse me. Although the Senate fell one vote short of convicting and removing Johnson, the radical Republicans managed to implement their Reconstruction program, which made the party anathema across the former Confederacy. In the North, the party's close identification with the Union victory secured it the allegiance of most farmers and its support of protective tariffs and of the interests of big business eventually gained it the backing of powerful industrial and financial circles. Progressivism. Okay, never go past words that you don't understand. I can't wait until I start the reading and comprehension class. Progressivism is a left-leaning political philosophy and movement that seeks to advance the human condition through social reform, primarily based on purported advancements in social organizations, science, and technology. The 1860 election is today regarded by most political observers as the first of the three critical elections in the United States. Contests that produce sharp and enduring changes in party loyalties across the country. Although some analysts consider the election of 1824 to be the first critical election. After 1860, the Democratic and Republican parties became the major parties in a largely two-party system. In federal elections from the 1870s to the 1890s, the parties were in rough balance, except in the South, which became solidly Democratic. The two parties controlled Congress for almost equal periods, though the Democrats held the presidency only during the two terms of Governor Cleveland, 1885 to 89 and 1893 to 97. In the country's second critical election in 1896, the Republicans won the presidency and control of both houses of Congress, and the Republican Party became the majority party in most states outside the South. The Republican presidential nominee that year was William McKinley, a conservative who favored high tariffs on foreign goods and sound money tied to the value of gold. The Democrats, already burdened by the economic depression that began under President Cleveland, nominated William Jennings Bryan, who advocated cheap money available at low interest rates based on both gold and silver. I didn't know this dude was assassinated. Wow. The assassination of President McKinley in 1901 elevated to the presidency Theodore Roosevelt, leader of the party's progressive wing. Roosevelt opposed monopolistic and exploitative business practices, adopted a more conciliatory attitude toward labor, and urged the conservation of natural resources. He was reelected in 1904, but declined to run in 1908. Deferring to his Secretary of War and friend William Howard Taft, who won handedly, subsequently disenchanted with Taft's conservative policies, Roosevelt unsuccessfully challenged him for the Republican nomination in 1912. Roosevelt then bolted the Republican Party to form the Progressive Party, Bull Moose Party, and ran for the president against Taft and the Democratic candidate, Woodrow Wilson. With the Republican vote divided, Wilson won the presidency, and he was reelected in 1916. During the spectacular prosperity of the 1920s, the Republicans' conservative and pro-business policies proved more attractive to voters than Wilson's brand of idealism and internationalism. The Republicans easily won the presidential elections of 1920, 1924, and 1928. The stock market crash of 1929 and the Great Depression that followed had severe consequences for the Republicans, largely because of their unwillingness to combat the effects of depression through direct government intervention in the economy. Okay? Y'all hear that? In the election of 1932, considered the country's third critical election, Republican incumbent President Herbert Hoover was overwhelmingly defeated by Democratic Franklin D. Roosevelt. And the Republicans were relegated to the status of a minority party. Okay? Roosevelt's 3 re-elections, he was the only president to serve more than 2 terms. Wow. He must have been a hell of a president. The succession of Harry S. Truman to the presidency on the Roosevelt's death in 1945, and Truman's narrow election over New York Governor Thomas E. Dewey in 1948 kept the Republicans out of the White House for 2 decades. Damn. Although most Republicans in the 1930s vehemently opposed Roosevelt's New Deal social programs, by the 1950s, the party had largely accepted the federal government's expanded role and regulatory powers. Now we're moving up in the years, y'all. We in 1950s. McCarthyism and Watergate. In 1952, Republican Party nominated as its presidential candidate World War II Supreme Allied Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower, who easily defeated Democratic Adlai E. Stevenson in the general election. Despite Eisenhower's centrist views, the Republican platform was essentially conservative, calling for a strong anti-communist stance in the foreign affairs, reductions in government regulation of the economy, lower taxes for the wealthy, and resistance to the federal civil rights legislation. Nevertheless, Eisenhower did dispatch federal troops to Arkansas in 1957 to enforce the court-ordered racial integration of high school in Little Rock, Arkansas. He also signed the Civil Rights Act of 1957 and 1960. Moreover, his moderate republicanism led him to oversee an expansion of Social Security, an increase in minimum wage, and the creation of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. Let's get it, y'all. In the early 1950s, okay, Senator Joseph McCarthy of Wisconsin became the party's most ardent anti-communist, taking the limelight while attempting to expose communists who he claimed were in the American government. In the interest of the party unity, Eisenhower chose not to criticize McCarthy's demagogic red baiting and occasionally appeared to support him privately. However, the president did not hide his enmity for McCarthy, worked to discredit him, and push Republican senators to censor his ass, his butt. The party retained the traditional support of both big and small businesses and gained new support from growing numbers of middle-class suburbanites and perhaps most significantly, the white Southerners who were upset by the point integration policies of leading Democrats, including President Truman, who had ordered the integration of the military. Eisenhower was reelected in 1956, but in 1960, Richard M. Nixon, Eisenhower's vice president, lost narrowly to Democrat John Kennedy. So you're hearing the stories. Now, the Republicans' mindset it's clear. They don't mind separate but equal. Like you stay in your area, you stay in our area. Now, when it comes to fighting, the armed forces should stand together. You don't have to be friends. My attitude, you can live in your own different communities. That's fine. But at the end of the day, when it's wartime, we are together. We're going to fight. We're going to win the war, and we're going to stand on United States still standing. You could go and live over there in Hooly, Gappy land in your homes, and we'll live over here in our homes. I'm cool with that. But when it's time to go to war, to stand on United States still standing and being in power, we got to come together. No separation there. No, it shouldn't be no separate military. I'm sorry. You come together, you whoop butt, and then you can go back home. You ain't got to be nobody friends, but during war, we brothers and sisters for real. I see you in the war. We in war together. We brothers and sisters for that one time. Then we can just go back to where we live. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't have a problem with that. Does anybody have a problem with that mindset? The one time racist people come together to be brothers and sisters is when it's time to whoop butt for our families. I'm cool with that. And then you can go back and live in your community the way you want to live. I'm cool with that. There's nothing wrong with having that mindset. Okay? But I don't think that schools, these are the two things I don't think should be segregated. Is schools and the armed forces. They should not. Because in order to be able to fight in a war and during wartime, we look at each other as brothers and sisters, no matter what our goddamn skin color is. We need to be in schools together so that we can communicate and establish that kind of relationship to say, okay, you stay in your community, I'll stay in mine, that's fine. But when it comes to war, always remember, we're here for our families. And that's the one day me and your white butt is going to be brothers and sisters. And I don't care. We come from the same, this is the one day we're going to look at each other that we came out the same ovaries, because we're going to combat the enemy. Our goal is to combat the enemy from invading our country and our land. And then after we kick their butt and win, we can go back to being. But in order for that to be established, I think we should be indoctrinated in our heads together as coming up that one damn time it's war. I don't give a damn what the issue is, what your color is, to stand on this country's rights. That's the one day we can be brothers and sisters. Now, we can still be brothers and sisters every day if you want to too, but that is the one day that it should be guaranteed that we stand together. Okay? Because there's just going to be people that just don't like each other because of their racial biases. But that is one day that I'm your sister, or you're my brother, and we going to whoop butt. I can see it. I don't know. Facts. I'm serious. People are going to die racist. But that one day, it's agreed. It's law. It's fact. Today, I'm your brother. The hell, when you come back, maybe from me saving you in war, you might think of me differently. With damn, that day I could have died. And Sister Bethy came out with the 9 and shot this dude's nuts off. I could have died. And you look at each other a little more differently. That sometimes happens. But it is what it is. So let's get it, y'all. But that's my attitude. You don't want to be my friend prior to war. You don't want to be my brother or sister prior to war because you're white or whatever. That's fine. But during war, we're brothers and sisters. You got the color of my coat on, of my country. Anybody I see that ain't wearing U.S. militia gear, they're gone. Okay. But anyway, let's go. Did I read that already? To censor him. So we got into the party retained the traditional support of both Whig and small businesses and gained the new support from growing numbers of middle-class suburbanites, and perhaps most significantly, the white Southerners who were upset by the pro-integration policies of leading Democrats, including President Truman, who had ordered the integration of the military. That shouldn't have been an issue. That's the one day you fight. Eisenhower was reelected in 1956, but in 1960, Richard Nixon, Eisenhower's vice president, lost narrowly to John Kennedy. The Republicans were in severe turmoil at their 1964 convention, where moderates and conservatives battled for control of the party. Ultimately, the conservatives secured the nomination of Senator Barry M. Goldwater, who lost by a landslide to Lyndon B. Johnson, Kennedy's vice president and successor. By 1968, the party's moderate fraction had regained control, and it again nominated Nixon, who narrowly won the popular vote over Hubert Humphrey, Johnson's vice president. Many Southern Democrats abandoned the Democratic Party to vote for the anti-integration candidate George Wallace. Importantly, the 1964 and 1968 elections signaled the death of the Democratic Solid South, as both Goldwater and Nixon made significant inroads there. In 1964, 5 of the 6 states won by Goldwater were in the South. In 1968, 11 Southern states voted for Nixon and only 1 voted for Humphrey. Here we go. Now pictures are starting to come in. Although Nixon was reelected by a landslide in 1972, now I remember this because I was like 5 or 4 years old. Republicans made a few gains in congressional, state, and local elections and failed to win control of Congress. In the wake of the Watergate scandal, Nixon resigned. I remember this when I was a little girl and he came on TV. I remember this. Nixon resigned the presidency in 1974 and was succeeded in office by Gerald R. Ford, the first appointed vice president to become president. Ford lost narrowly to Southern Democrat Jimmy Carter in 1976. I remember all of them when I was little. By then, I was like 10 years old. In the 1980, Ronald Wilson Reagan, the charismatic leader of the Republican Party's conservative wing, defeated Carter and helped the Republicans to gain control of the Senate, which they held until 1987. Right, Charlie? This stuff brings back so much memories. Right. Now, here we got, I have 2 pictures here because we got Reagan and then we go into George Bush Sr., the father. So that's why I have 2 pictures up here because it speaks about both of them. Ronald Reagan, the end of the Cold War and the rise of the Tea Party. Reagan introduced deep tax cuts and launched a massive buildup of U.S. military forces. His personal popularity and an economic recovery contributed to his 49-state victory over Democratic Walter F. Mondale in 1984. Boy, I remember these names. I was in high school then. His vice president, George H.W. Bush, continued the Republicans' presidential success by handedly defeating Democrat Michael S. Dukakis in 1988. During Bush's term, the Cold War came to an end after the communism collapsed in the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe. In 1991, Bush led an international coalition that drove Iraq armies out of Kuwait in the Persian Gulf War. Remember that. Congress continued to be controlled by the Democrats, however, and Bush lost his bid for re-election in 92 to another Southern Democrat, Bill Clinton. Oh, here we go. Partly because of Clinton's declining popularity in 1993, 94, the Republican won victories in the 94 midterm elections that gave them control of both houses of Congress for the first time since 1954. They promptly undertook efforts to overhaul the country's welfare system and to reduce the budget deficit. But their uncompromising and confrontational style led many voters to blame them for a budget impasse in 1995-96 that resulted in 2 partial government shutdowns. Clinton was reelected in 96, though the Republicans retained control of Congress. In 2000, now here comes Cutie Pie, George Bush, the son. In 2000, Texas Governor George Bush, son of the former president, recaptured the presidency for the Republicans, receiving $500,000 fewer popular votes. No, I'm sorry. Let me get this right. In 2000, Texas Governor George W. Bush, son of the former president, recaptured the presidency for the Republicans, receiving 500,000 fewer popular votes than Democrat Al Gore, but narrowly winning a majority of the electoral votes, 271 to 266, after the Supreme Court of the United States ordered a halt to the manual counting of disputed ballots in Florida. Bush was only the second son of a president to assume the nation's highest office. The Republicans also won a majority in both chambers of Congress. Though the Democrats gained effective control of the Senate in 2001 following the decision of Republican Jim Jeffords of Vermont to become an independent. A surge in Bush's popularity following the September 11 attacks of 2001 enabled the Republicans to recapture the Senate and to make gains in the House of Representatives in 2002. So right there, I'm going to pause to take my little lady bathroom break because the water break. I'll be right back, my loves. Hang in there. It's getting fun and good. Thank you, my loves, for your patience. All right, let's get it, y'all. So we read this already. All right, let's get it. In 2004, Bush was narrowly reelected, winning both the popular and electoral vote. And the Republicans kept control of both houses of Congress. In the 2006 midterm elections, however, the Republicans fared poorly, hindered largely by the growing opposition to the Iraq War, and the Democrats gained control of both the House and Senate. In the general election of 2008, the Republican presidential nominee, John McCain, was defeated by Democrat Barack Obama. And the Democrats increased their majority in both houses of Congress. The following year, the Republican National Committee elected Michael Steele as its first Black American chairman. So I don't have any Democratic pictures up because focus is on Republican history. So you don't see Democratic pictures is because the focus is the Republican Party. With the gain of some 60 seats in a swing not registered since 1948, Republicans recaptured control of the House and dramatically reduced the Democrats' majority in the Senate in the 2010 midterm election. The election, which was widely seen as a referendum on the Obama administration's policy agenda, was marked by anxiety over the struggling economy, especially the high unemployment rate, and by the upsurge of the Tea Party, a populist movement whose adherents generally oppose excessive taxation and big government. Tea Party candidates, some of whom had displaced candidates favored by the Republican establishment during the primaries, had mixed success in the general. In the 2012 general election, the Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney was unable to unseat Obama. The situation in Congress remained relatively unchanged, with Republicans retaining their hold on the House of Representatives and Democrats successfully defending their majority in the Senate. The Republicans regained control of the Senate during the 2014 midterm elections. All right, here go our boy. The 2016 presidential election was a watershed moment for the Republican Party. The party's nomination was captured by businessman and television personality Donald Trump, who easily defeated more mainstream Republican candidates such as Jeb Bush and Ted Cruz in the primaries. Trump's far-right social positions and outspoken hostility toward immigrants made a number of mainstream Republicans concerned that he was setting the party up for a Goldwater-esque landslide electoral defeat. But to the surprise of most political pundits, he won the Electoral College despite amassing almost 3 million fewer popular votes than Democratic Hillary Clinton, giving Republicans the presidency for the first time in 8 years to go alongside the party's retention of power in both chambers of Congress. Trump continued to defy political norms after taking office, and his presidency was plagued by controversy, especially allegations that his campaign had colluded with Russia to secure his election. Although he enjoyed solid support among Republicans, Some believe that he was causing irreparable harm to the party. His overall approval ratings were typically low, and in the 2018 midterms, Democrats retook control of the House. During Trump's presidency, the party fractured between Republican traditionalists and the emerging pro-Trump MAGA, Make America Great Again movement. In September 2019, it was revealed that Trump had attempted to pressure Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky into launching an investigation into presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden in exchange for the release of hundreds of millions of dollars in congressionally approved security assistance. The subsequent investigation of the Ukraine scandal led to Trump's impeachment in the House in 2019, although he was acquitted in the Senate the following month. As the C-19 pandemic killed unlived hundreds of thousands of Americans and brought the economy to a standstill in 2020, Trump drew criticism for downplaying the effects of disease and for the scattershot federal response. We all lived through this, and it was bull crap to me. I was still strong standing on Trump and what he was saying. They just didn't like it because they couldn't control his mouth and they couldn't control him. And that's a sign of a good president, great president. Seriously. After Biden was victorious in 2020 presidential election, Trump refused to concede, instead promoting a web of baseless conspiracy theories about election interference. Whatever, we was all down with Trump back then. And it's just funny how so many of us never stopped seeing him as president. So a lot of us, this is his third term, and I'm just like dying, cracking up. But anyway, let me see. Okay, here we go. On January 6, 2021, thousands of Trump supporters, finally stormed the U.S. Capitol during a joint session of Congress, temporarily halting the certification of the election results and disrupting the peaceful transfer of power. Whatever. A week later, Trump was impeached by the House for a second time. In this case, for his role in inspiring the attack on the Capitol. Get out. Unlike the first impeachment, in which voting broke down largely along party lines, several prominent Republicans, including Liz Cheney in the House and Susan Collins and Ben Sasse in the Senate, voted to convict Trump of incitement of his insurrection. Bull. Oh, I was so pissed. Me and Willie was so pissed. Oh, we were pissed. Trump was ultimately acquitted in the Senate. In the immediate aftermath of the attack on the Capitol, it seemed that Trump's political career was finished. No, it wasn't, honey. But before long, current and prospective Republican office holders were journeying to Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida to seek his endorsement. Trump and the MAGA movement had survived January 6th, but Republican candidates underperformed in the 2020 midterm elections. Although the Republicans won control of the House, it was by a narrow margin, and Democrats retained control of the Senate. So, policy and structure. Although its founders refused to recognize the rights of states and territories to practice slavery, the modern Republican Party supports state rights against the power of the federal government in most cases. And it opposes the federal regulation of traditionally state and local matters, such as policing and education. Now, listen again, y'all. Because this is things, you see, the Democrats for many, many years. Now, I'm in my 50s. So, if my mother is in her 70s and our grannies are in their 90s, this is information that the Democrats will never tell you, and nobody will ever tell you this. They, for all those years, I'm saying 100, 200 years, they have never told the true mindset and thought of a Republican. This is why I'm so honored to be able to teach you this so that it's in your head, and their goals and mindsets never changed since they were established as a party. They always had this mindset, and I had this mindset, and we're all learning that as hardcore Democrats that we used to be, and hardcore Democrats that are Democrats today, we are learning that this is a great mindset. But the Democrats will fight you and make you believe otherwise. This is a natural mindset as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to read it again, and I want you to listen to it. And I'm going to read it slow, like I'm in third grade, so it can digest in you. Let's get it. Policy and structure, the mindset of the Republican. Although its founders refused to recognize the right of states and territories to practice slavery, the modern Republican Party supports state rights against the power of the federal government in most cases, and it opposes the federal regulation of traditionally state and local matters, such as policing and education. Because the party is highly decentralized, as is the Democratic Party, it encompasses a wide variety of opinion on certain issues, though it is ideologically more unified at the national level than the Democratic Party is. The Republicans advocate, this is what they advocate for. The Republicans advocate reduced taxes as a means of stimulating the economy and advancing individual economic freedom. Listen, y'all, this is so important to understand. The Republicans, they always did. The Republicans advocate to reduce taxes as a means of stimulating the economy and advancing individual economic freedom. They tend to stimulate the economy and advancing individual economic freedom. They tend to oppose extensive government regulation of the economy, government-funded social programs, affirmative action, and policies aimed at strengthening the rights of workers. And they don't. That's just not true. They don't oppose that. The one thing Republicans always wanted individuals to do is get jobs, get off the damn tax dollars, because then we can reduce it. That's always. So you can't, so when people write stuff, they always want to write it out in their negative understanding. It doesn't make sense to have an individual right for economic growth and freedom, and at the same time, don't give you rights as an employees, as workers. That makes no sense. This is how the Democrats have done it. They've always twisted the real mindset of Republicans when it comes to this. Republicans have always been against taxes. If we were, if taxes was low, a lot of our ancestors wouldn't have lost their goddamn farms. And that's a fact. So you need to read this with with an open mind. Because a lot of our ancestors lost their home due to fraudulent tax laws. If they had the mindset collectively of what Republicans' mindset is here about taxes, we still be on our farms right now. Me, Betty Jean, everybody. You wouldn't even be in they wouldn't even have to develop inner city hoods for people leaving their South and their farms and all their lands to come to live in the cities. You was punished by the Democrats strongly supporting them, and you ain't even know that they was hurting you. It takes a person to wake up and step outside the box, smell drink the coffee, and understand that that's the only way you're going to see you're being deceived by Democrats, and you have been for many, many years. You literally have to wake up, smell the coffee, and clear your head. That's called being baptized. When you clean your head of a Democrat, you gotta go back under the water and be baptized to see this. Many Republicans, though not all, favor increased government regulation of the private, non-economic lives of citizens in some areas, such as abortion. Though most Republicans also strongly oppose gun control legislation. You're damn right. Republicans are more likely than Democrats to support organized prayer in public schools and to oppose the legal recognition of equal rights for gays and lesbians. See, gay rights movement. Regarding foreign policy, the Republican Party traditionally has supported a strong national defense and the aggressive pursuit of U.S. national security interests, even when it entails acting unilaterally or in opposition to the views of the international community. Both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party formulate their platforms quadrennially at national political conventions, which are held to nominate the party's presidential candidates. The conventions take place in the summer of each presidential election year. By tradition, the incumbent party holds its convention second. The Republican National Convention typically gathers some 2,000 delegates who are selected during the winter and spring. Until the 1970s, few nationwide rules govern the selection of delegates to the Republican National Convention. After the Democratic Party adopted a system based on state primaries and caucuses, the Republicans followed it. More than 40 states now select delegates to the Republican convention through primary elections, while several other states choose delegates through caucuses. Virtually all Republican primaries allocate delegates on a winner-take-all basis, so that the candidate who wins the most votes in the state is awarded all the delegates of the state. In contrast, almost all Democratic primaries allocate delegates based on the proportion of the vote each candidate receives. As a result, the Republicans tend to choose their presidential nominees more quickly than the Democrats do, often long before the summer nominating convention, leaving the convention simply to ratify the winner of the primaries. In addition to confirming the party's presidential nominee and adopting the party platform, all right, The National Convention formally chooses a national committee to organize the next convention and to govern the party until the next convention is held. The Republican National Committee, that's RNC, consists of about 150 party leaders representing all U.S. states and territories. Its chairman is typically named by the party's presidential nominee and formally elected by the committee. Its chairman is typically named by the party's presidential nominee and then formally elected by the committee. Republican members of the House and the Senate organize themselves into party conferences that elect the party leaders of each chamber. In keeping with the decentralized nature of the party, each chamber also creates separate committees to raise and disperse funds for the House and Senate election. Hang on, my Judies. I forgot to do something. I need to do it now. While we're flying through this, it's like so wonderful how we're flying through this. I thought it was going to be longer. Okay. All right, here we go. So let me start here. In keeping with the decentralized nature of the party, each chamber also creates separate committees to raise and disperse funds for House and Senate election campaigns. Although Republican Congressional Party organizations maintain close informal relationships with the RNC, they are formally separate from it and not subject to its control. Similarly, the state party organizations are not subject to direct control by the National Committee. So, now, all that reading I got from the Britannica, which, everything, it was a condensed version of the Republican history, but we know their mindsets, and now we're going to read their agenda, and then I'll open the panel to talk about it. Let's get that out here. So, a lot of reading, but we got through it in an hour and a half. So, pretty interesting. Does give me a 1 if everyone has a background history of a little background history. Was it helpful to know what the Republican Party is about? Because we were Republicans. Martin Luther King was a Republican. It's helpful to know. You got to be baptized again, because all these years the Democrats have control over our brains. It's like from birth with us. We were told that we were Democrats. We didn't have an option with them. Oh, no, you can't vote. Even if we were listening and they catch you gazing at a Republican agenda, oh, what? No, they're racist. They don't like you. Whole time it was them, and it's still them. The best way, and I'm telling you, all the things Democrats told you about Republicans. Okay, the Democrats have always been the greatest at stereotyping. They have always been that way, stereotyping, placing labels on people. So when Democrats told us that, oh, don't do anything, don't believe anything, don't deal with the Republicans, they're racist. They stereotyped them and feared inner city people who are not really into politics from even wanting to associate with white Republicans. And that's bad. because you're going to see you. And I'm telling you this, when you sit down in a room, I'm telling you this because I experienced it so many times. So many times. When you sit down in a room with a bunch of white Democrats, right? And have a meeting, and then you sit down in a room with a bunch of Republicans, there's a huge difference in the vibe and the behavior. Because all these years, the Democrats have told you that these are racist people. And I'm telling you, one thing, let me tell you something. Now, we have racism in every race. It don't matter what your race is. But when you sit down in a room to do business, and that's what it's about, business, not in there to be friends and lovers, business. As brown people, when you sit in a room with a bunch of Republicans versus Democrats, you see and feel the difference. And I'm keeping it a buck. You're sitting down there, and I'm telling you, when you're sitting down in a room in a meeting with Republicans, and I'm telling you, I experienced this time and time and time again. It's a whole different vibe. Republicans listen, and they love to communicate, and they love to talk. I'm talking about now we getting personal, down to the individual Republicans. They love communicating and talking about politics, and they don't give a damn what your race is. A lot of times, even if you're outside in the store some damn where, and you start having a political conversation, you know the difference without them even telling you the difference between a Republican and a Democrat. They don't even have to say what their party is. The Republicans are more sympathetic to a decent political conversation and more willing to work in our communities than Democrats. I'm telling you. They rather see you work and excel than stay in the hood and just be, what do society call us? Welfare queens, making a career off their welfare and social programs. Republicans, they're like, no. You go open up your Betty Jean cookie shop. This is how you do it. Republicans be like, no, I'm gonna help you, because they are into not using tax dollars for bullshit and increasing taxes. They want you, the Republicans, rather you open your business and become a tax-paying citizen so that they could lower taxes. The more put into the tax system, the lower. They always said, and we took it as a racism thing, and we shouldn't have, but because we were being guided wrong by Republicans. When you hear, we were guided wrong by Democrats. When Republicans used to say, get off my damn tax dollars. Guess what? I'm saying that now, and I've been a Democrat since all the way until Obama. Once he got out of office, I became a straight up Republican. I say that now, get off my damn tax dollars. I'm tired. And I was a Democrat. There's nothing wrong with getting a job. Okay? And I'm serious. The Republicans have never been against brown people getting jobs and opening their own businesses. They be like, oh, they quick. Oh, I'll show you how to do it. Hell yeah. But the problem is, and then you hear the Democrats say, well, why Republicans never come in our community? Well, first of all, they don't feel like they have a win with us. And they never did, because of the damage control that the Democrats did to our people. Handouts. So they never felt that they could win. Why bother? I wouldn't either. But now shit is on. We now know the mindset of the Republican because a lot of us have that same mindset. A lot of us want our own businesses, but it was the Democrat the whole time keeping you from opening it. I don't care if you say that two heads are the same snake, but Republicans' motto: get a job, be a positive part of our economic system. They didn't give a damn what your color was. For real, for real. And they still like that today. So now I would challenge my people and Republicans, the individual. We got to start working together because we have the same mindset. We do. The whole time. They seen things the way we seen them, especially us that my people that have finished high school, got some college, even if you didn't have college, we still had the same mindset as Republicans. But the damage control of our mind by the Democrats, terrible, terrible. They are terrible people to work, even work for. We have to start establishing what was taken away from us as a people. You know what that is? Start having professional conversations with Republicans. I'm serious. You have the best time communicating that you could possibly even think about. Because then in your head, be like, damn, all these years, they said bad things about Republicans, and this shit ain't even true. You're going to learn that. It's been bullshit the whole time. Most Democrats major in psychology and philosophy. Facts. That's why they could do what they do, and why they do. Oh yeah, y'all. And I'm this far away from getting my doctorates. Oh, y'all gonna be calling me Dr. Bethy. Yep, almost there. But yes, you have your best conversations with Republicans. I'm telling you. I mean, seriously, they've always wanted to reach out to us, but they've never felt welcome because of the control that the Democrats had over our heads. So now is the time. Now is the time to start communicating, and you're going to learn all the shit that was kept from you. When you stand together, I don't give a damn what your race is, you're more powerful. In the Republican Party, you really learn that the power is in the people. Once you become a Republican from being a Democrat, you never want to go back. Because now you're catching up on everything you lost out on doing, especially the freedom of your mind. Facts. Facts. If you ever, and we're going to talk about how to reestablish and strengthen, how we're going to talk about how to strengthen the Republican Party. We're going to talk about strengthening it. I might not get it all done in this segment, but we're going to talk about strengthening the Republican Party. Seriously. And one of the ways of strengthening, we'll get there. Let's now read the Republican platform, the agenda. Let's get it. Let me pull it up. I believe I have it up. It should be up. I thought this was it. Yeah. I gotta save this somewhere else. Give me a minute, y'all, so we can get their agenda up. I'm gonna play a little music, okay? And I'll be right back. I'm just gonna upload some more slides that I left out. Okay. Be right back. Play a little music for you while we get it. Get it. I remember that song. Be right back. Play a little music. All right. Let's get it. Thank you for your patience again. I had to upload the other slides. So here we go, y'all. Let's get it. Let's talk about his agenda. All right, here we go. So let's first just read a little about it. Donald Trump. He's a Gemini. Oh, he is a Gemini, y'all. Oh my goodness. Our boy is a Gemini. Oh my goodness. Y'all know Gemini? You trying to tell me Trump is two-faced? Y'all know that twin comes out. That's our boy. A lot of our boy. He is a Gemini. My brother's a Gemini. Oh my God. That's why he's the way he is. Okay, so Donald Trump, he was born June 14th, 1946. Wow. He's a year older than my mom. Is an American politician and personality and businessman who served as the 45th president of the United States from 2017 to 2021. He is currently the president-elect scheduled to be inaugurated as the 47th president on January 20th, 2025. All right now. No, I didn't, Copper. Let me get through this and you could tell me in a minute when I open the panel. So January 20th is when he gets sworn in. I think I'm going to take a ride to D.C. see him get sworn in. Common sense tells us clearly, this is what the Republicans are saying now. Common sense tells us clearly that Republican Party must stand for equal treatment for all. Common sense tells us clearly that the Republican Party must stand for equal treatment for all. This is what they're saying. Likewise, the Republican Party must ensure the equal application of law to all regardless of political affiliation or personal beliefs. Recent Democratic-led political persecutions threaten to destroy 250 years of American principle and practice and must be stopped. America needs determined Republican leadership at every level of government to address the core threats to our very survival. Our disastrously open border, our weakened economy, crippling restrictions on American energy production, our depleted military, attacks on the American system of justice, and much more. I concur. So here we go. So these are the President Trump's core promises to make America great again. And y'all know he always does what he say he gonna do. That little other twin, Trump got a twin because he's a Gemini. And that little twin jumps out and say, don't forget the borders. That's why he stands on what he said he do, what he said he gonna do. Because he got that little twin, he's a Gemini, to remind him, yo, bro, you forgetting. You ain't forgetting. Number one on the core, seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. Calling it what it is because that's what it is. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. End inflation and make America affordable again. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. That's a damn shame. See how the Democrats got you? People getting tips, paying taxes. Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. Prevent World War III. Facts. Restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country. Damn. All made in America. Iron Dome. Whoa. Interesting. I gotta ask, is that Iron Dome a metaphor or literally? Stop the migrant crime epidemic. Demolish the foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and lock up violent offenders. I can agree with that. I do want to stop migrant crime. I do want to demolish foreign drug cartels and crush gang violence. I don't want that in our. I'm tired of that. It was the worst in the 90s. Rebuild our cities. He didn't say suburbs. He said rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. Strengthen and modernize our military, making it, without question, the strongest and most powerful in the world. Keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. I agree with all of this. I don't have a problem with none of this. We are number 13, and he got 20 core promises. Fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. Anybody disagree with anything yet? I mean, does anybody, whether you're any of my people that's a Democrat right now, do you disagree with any of this so far? I would really like to know, because I damn sure don't. I don't disagree with none of this. Cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costly and burdensome regulations. I don't like that electrical vehicle mandate shit. I do not. I'm serious. I ain't never buying one of them damn cars. I'm going to keep pulling up in my damn truck, and it ain't going to be electric. I will run you over. Cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory. I'm going to read that again. Cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. Keep men out of women's sports. Deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. Secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter identification, paper ballots, and proof of citizenship. Unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success. I don't disagree. Now, I want to read this again. I know it's 20 core promises. There are promises, and Donald Trump, I can't, I really want to see that him carry out that largest deportation operation. I want to see that visually. I just want to watch it happen. I wish that was that other twin and Donald Trump's body, because I would say make the mass deportation all retroactively back to when Obama was in office. Oh, they don't ever want me to be his twin conscious. But I'm going to read it again. Seal, and he get a bomb drops for all 20. So you're going to get 20 bomb drops at this damn point. Seal the border and stop the migrant invasion, because they only wanted the Democrats because they need their votes, because they knew that they were going to eventually lose the inner city's trust and the inner city's waking up, great awakening of their evil management styles. And that's due to the millennial generation. Molded the millennial generation. That's the generation that sees through all the bullshit. I don't care what their race is. The millennial, and I'm keeping it a buck, the millennial generation, you can't fool them. That's the woke up, the great awakening right there. The millennial generation clearly sees through bullshit. I don't care if they're white millennial, Asian millennial, brown millennial. You can't fool them. They're the ones that help us get out, that help us literally get out of the Democratic mindset and pulled us back into the Republican mindset. And I'm going to give a bomb drop to them babies. So let's go. Let's read this one more time, and then I'm going to open the panel. And it gets better, because after millennial comes the Gen Z. The great, well, you can't fool the Gen Z. The more you go into the future, the more we're going to be Republicans again. So let's get it, y'all. And we, Gen X, is molding that to happen. Number one, seal the border and stop the migration invasion. Remember, y'all remember watching the 10 Commandments when they kicked Moses out of Egypt, Pharaoh? Remember, Moses said, I did what I was compelled to do. And the Pharaoh said, now I'm going to do what I'm compelled to do. Y'all know we watched the movies as kids. That was just like traditional in our house to watch 10 Commandments and Shaka Zulu. This is what I'm compelled to do. And and every time Moses walked out, you heard the sound, boom. Pharaoh, stricken from every pilot. He took his name off. So now I'm doing it today. Seal the border and stop the migration invasion. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. End inflation and make America affordable again. Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. Number 8, prevent World War III. Restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country. All made in America. And the weaponization of government against the American people. Stop the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and lock up violent offenders. Eleven, rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. Number 12, strengthen and modernize our military, making it without question the strongest and most powerful in the world. Keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. Fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. Cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costly and burdensome regulations. Cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. Keep men out of women's sports. You think I want to get in a boxing ring? Because boxing is a sport. With Mike Tyson, he ain't biting my ear. Deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic. Secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter identification, paper ballots, and proof of citizenship. Unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success. And there's more, but these are the core 20. And you know what? Reading this automatically lets me know that he is serious about this deportation, because he mentioned it in 2 or 3 different ways in his core 20 goals. I'm serious. And I want to see this mass deportation happen. He's serious about that. He mentioned like in 2 or 3 different ways in his core 20 goals. Go read it. It's on his website. He's serious about that. And I stand behind it. I stand behind it. The Democrats have been doing this and allowing this illegal immigration for years to secure votes. Years. So, I'm going to open up the panel. Anyone's welcome to come on. I don't care who you are. This channel is for all people. I don't care if you agree with it or disagree. We can respectfully disagree. Seriously. But that persuasion thing, it's over. I'm only persuaded by myself. I have control of my own mind. And you should gain control of your own. Nobody should be able to persuade you to do nothing or believe nothing until your energy is able to successfully digest it. If your energy can't digest it, then don't believe it. Seriously. I can no longer digest bullshit. I don't have a gallbladder anymore. So I definitely can't digest bullshit. So I'm going to open the panel and I want to vibe. So I'll play music till you come up. But I'm standing on this. And we're going to talk about tomorrow. I'll leave open on how, because it's important. And how do we move forward? One of the major things, start going to, and you can start visiting Democratic Council meetings. And particular councils, they welcome you because they want you to learn. They don't turn you away and say, "Oh no, you're in my town. You can't come in here and listen." No, they don't do that. They don't even do that in the Democrats, to be very honest. But you establish better relationships. You need to establish relationships with Republicans. They're everywhere. If the first place to start is calling up Republican senators. Seriously, that's where it'll start at. All the Republicans, it don't matter what state they're in. If you call their office and start speaking and communicating with their aides, they are so friendly. And you learn so much from them. And I'm keeping it a buck. Seriously, the first place to begin developing a relationship, if you're a Democrat with a Republican, is to start calling their offices, Democratic offices, and express your interest and how you want to be and how you want to make the Republican Party powerful and strong in this country. They will welcome you with open arms, because once we're back to be Republicans, it's easy to remember everything Democrats took you through in your life, your mind. It's too late to make them powerful. Democrats, it's too late, because they're always going to stand on ugly. They pass ugly policies and they're lied to you. Just think about how much control they had over your mind for a lifetime. everything that they do, gives you everything in the world to want to go and start fresh with a party that you've been misguided about. That just the thought of everything Democrats have done to you should give you every reason in the world to want to go start with a party fresh and make it powerful, so you don't ever have to look back at ugly Democratic policies. Talk about being at the bottom of a dirty ship. It's dark. You don't see no color. At the bottom of a dirty slave ship, you don't see color. But believe me, the Democrats was driving that ship and all colors were in the bottom of the ship in chains. Whether you were white, Asian, brown, it don't matter. Making the Republican Party powerful takes initiative, individual initiative. And it's easy to do. All you have to do is contact one of their offices, and it don't matter if it's in your jurisdiction or not. Just pick up the phone and begin communicating with them and expressing interest just based on their policies alone. What can I do to help make the Republican Party powerful so that you don't ever have to see and live the life of a Democrat again? Because you've been bamboozled. Because you're starting off fresh with these policies that President Trump has implemented, there's nothing wrong with not one of those 20 goals is to begin establishing relationships in which you were kept from. Begin establishing relationships with Republicans. Call them up. And once you begin speaking with them, you're going to learn that the Democrats were the devil the whole time. It's a whole different vibe feeling, for real. So I'm going to, and I'm talking about individual. Am I blindly going to say, oh, there's no mean Republicans? I'd be too foolish to say that. But I'm telling you, the majority, greatest conversations you'll have, and you're going to learn that. I ain't going to have to tell you because you're going to experience it. So let me play some music and wait for anyone. The piano is open to anyone. So the link is pinned to the top and it's in the chat. I welcome you to the panel now. Hey, Copper.
Hey, Sister Bethy, how are you today?
I'm good, love. How you been? What's going
Hey,
on?
I'm doing real good today. Real good. I mean, I'm almost like you were. I really didn't get much sleep day before yesterday because I stayed up all night long to see how this
Yes.
election was going.
Oh my
And,
good. Oh.
and I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I thought I was looking at a lie, right? Or maybe I was probably falling asleep. At least that's what I thought. This was a blowout. This was not even an election. This was a blowout.
Far as I'm concerned, it was that map. I was dying because Chief Holiday kept saying, "Could you look at the map, please?" Him and Cuddy. I was laughing so hard because I stayed on. Cuddy did the and Chief did the elections all day for like 24 hours, and I stayed on that panel from the time the election started until 3 something in the morning when they was giving Trump's the states. Once he had Pennsylvania, I said, "Oh, it's a wrap."
I'm gonna tell you when I knew he had it. It had to been about 11:30 for me. When I saw what the popular votes were, I said, "Oh, that's a wrap." I said, "This a wrap. She don't stand a chance now. It's impossible."
Yep.
And then I watched right here in Michigan. You know, I was watching ABC News, and those Democratic, listen, y'all, those Democratic black folk were crying. And I tell you, they had boxes of Kleenex there for them folk.
Well, a lot of them ain't us, but go ahead.
No, you're right. Now, sister, you know, for the last some odd years, I've been saying these folks.
Don't even get me started. Who they are?
Hey,
okay.
I'll say it.
I'm gonna call it like like it is, Black Europeans. But
That's
you got it.
That's right. Yeah, well, we've been calling them what they were. They look like us, but they are not of us. No.
Those were the ones was crying.
Yeah, they were really crying. Oh man, I seen one of them there with a couple of boxes of Kleenex. They were crying so much and their noses was running so bad. I said, "Oh, now y'all getting ready to get y'all's behind tore out the frame. Now we ain't playing with you." And I want to say this, not to my sisters in the chat, none of y'all, none of you Indians, but I will tell them sisters that are listening in, that are, I got to put it out there, Sister Bethy. I'm talking about the sisters that we were born from. I know y'all are upset because we didn't vote for Kamala Harris. We told y'all 4 years ago when y'all begged us to get on the Biden-Harris ticket. We did it for you. And through these 4 years, not one time have either of them came through for any of us, whether it's you or anybody else, but they came through for everybody else but us. So and this time,
gracefully say that I was not on that ticket, and I'm proud that I wasn't.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that is because of what they said this time around yesterday, when all them sisters got on there and said, "Well, we're not doing this with you brothers, and we ain't doing this, blah 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 blah." We don't care now. Don't y'all get it? We don't care what y'all don't do. Because see, sooner or later, you're going to come knocking on the door. And that same energy that you carried yesterday, you're going to have to carry this the next 4 years, whether y'all know it or not.
That's right. You had to put up with their crap for 2 years. Now they got to put up with his for 4 more. I hope he win a third term.
Well, guess what?
Look, they in Congress right now. If they have the House and the Senate, they could easily pass legislation
They
that
will.
the
You heard
president.
what he said. Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you the most surprising thing he did this morning. Now I know he had plenty of time to rest. I know he did, and he came out swinging. And when I tell you he came out swinging, he came out swinging. Now, I hate to say this, Sister Bethy, because we in the East, but he came out swinging like them Los Angeles Dodgers on them Yankees last week. I mean, he hit a home run just morning, shook up the whole farming community. And when I say farming, I didn't say farmers. I said farming community, meaning John Deere. He hit John Deere first shot out the park. He said, "Oh, so you talking about moving your corporation down to Mexico?" He says it's gonna cost you $200 to bring them back in here in tariffs. He ain't playing with them. You know what John Deere been doing, right?
Go.
I'm gonna tell you. John Deere has been producing tractors that do not need you in the seats. Meaning, if that tractor breaks down, you got to call a dealer to come out there to repair your tractor that you're not running and that you yourself cannot repair. Yeah, that's what they've been doing all this time to these farmers. Now, if a farmer's tractor breaks down and he can't get it back up and running for the next 3 or 4 days, how much money he done lost?
He lost a lot of money.
Thank you.
A lot of money.
So Donald Trump owned them, y'all. I'm telling you.
Hi, OMAC Supreme. Yeah, we know it forbids more than 2 terms. But when you got Congress, the House and the Senate, the Constitution can be changed. But
wait a minute, sister. He's wrong, and I'm gonna explain to him why he's wrong. See,
you can hit the link, OMAC.
When Roosevelt was president, the only reason why he got 3 terms is because he was president when war got started. That's why he was in there for 3 terms. After that, there's not been another president in there for 3 terms because you ain't been in a world war.
Right.
That's why he was in there. And he died in office, if y'all remember.
Yes. Yeah, OMAC. We know that the Constitution forbids it, but when you have the House and the Senate and Congress at the federal level, you can change the Constitution. All they need is 2/3 vote by the House and the Senate. And if you got the entire House and Senate, you can change the Constitution. But out of respect for the Constitution, many have
elected not to do that.
Elected not to touch it from its original status. But the amendments were necessary.
Yeah, because remember, we got bombed. See, a lot of people don't know. Pearl Harbor got bombed. This is why. This is what they're not paying attention to. You got to go back in history and see what happened, because he was on his way out of office. He was done. He was glad to be gone. All of a sudden,
which Roosevelt? Yeah, Roosevelt. Yeah.
He was sitting president. He was in his 2nd term, and he got bombed. He was almost out of office, but they made sure he couldn't get out of office because he was the commander in chief, and they didn't have time to have another one up in there.
They didn't.
And the generals, if you go back in history and look at the generals was who? George Patton, MacArthur, and Eisenhower. Those were your generals. So they didn't have nobody else. So when he died in office, think about who was his vice president. The war was over. Eisenhower became president.
Yep.
You got to know your history when you're dealing with this.
Yeah, that's why I went through primarily. That's why I strictly went through a very condensed and small version of the history of the Republicans, because when we were Republicans as a people, we always agreed on the same core platforms. but that was wiped out of our heads when we moved in the inner cities
Yeah,
and we
well, that's
became
true.
democratic kings and queens
That's why I
because
asked in the chat.
they
I
they
said,
handed out, they gave handouts.
I asked everybody in the chat, and nobody answered the question. And it's odd that these things aren't being asked. I asked in the question, do you all know who Jefferson Davis really was? Wasn't no answer. Jefferson Davis was the president of the Southern Confederate States. Do y'all know that Jefferson Davis was really a dark-skinned brother? No, y'all don't know, because this isn't something that they taught you in school.
Well, the other one too, that's mulatto. What's his name? Was it the one with the freckles?
Oh, you talking about wait a minute. Shucks.
Everybody was always curious about his identity. Was it Was it Hoover? I
No,
forgot.
that
It
was
was
Eisenhower. Eisenhower.
yeah, he had like freckles.
Yeah, he was
And
from Chicago. Eisenhower.
yeah, yeah.
Eisenhower. Because if you seen his brothers and sisters, you knew. This is why Eisenhower. I don't know if y'all really need to study that man. He was a deep, deep brother. Ooh wee.
Yeah.
He was a
They
deep
were
brother.
tough on him. But King Kapala, so will y'all, he said y'all, you should say, will y'all be able to get a job regardless of your felonies or nah? Yes, you will. Yes.
That has already been spoken of. That has
Yeah.
already been spoken of to get the word felony off of all applications. They gotta go.
Right. You what King Kapala? The problem is, see, the Democrats always made it seem like they was the saviors and allowing convicted felons to get job. Not so. Republicans have always said, get your own business and get your own job. They didn't give a damn about you having no felony. They just didn't want you on the tax dollars.
That's right.
Trust me, they do not want no social program that's going to take care of somebody's jail butt when they come out of prison. Because with the funny thing is, the Democrat, they always set something up as a handback. Is when convicted felons have been in prison for what, 5 or let me see, is it 10 years? They can come out and automatically qualify for mental disability because they're too far behind in society to function right. That's some bullshit when it comes to a Republican.
Well, wait a minute, Sister Beth.
No.
You know why they did that, right? You got to go into that book. That
one?
You know, that mental health book.
Oh,
you got to go into that. Yes, you got to. That's in that book. That's why that happens to men who have been in prison for like 20, 25, 30 years, because they are mental patients. And I don't disagree with that. What I disagree with is that somebody who has been locked up for 5 or 10 years being able to do that. No, hell no.
Right.
So that's why that's in that book.
And believe me, when you go to Republicans and you want to open your business, they welcome you with open arms. Oh, here's how you do it, because they want to make sure that you ain't on their tax dollars. But Democrats, oh no, let's give her this. They always want to put a label on somebody.
King Kapala, you wrote about redlining. What you might want to do is go look and see.
Sorry, we could agree to disagree, but he won't.
Where the history of redlining came from.
Hit the link, King. We can agree to disagree, but I'm telling you, I disagree. But go ahead.
I disagree too.
Hit the link. I disagree.
Yeah, come on up on the panel, bro. Forget all that typing in the chat. Come on.
I told you why they didn't want to come to our community, because they knew that they were already doomed by the Democrats. And Willie was like, well, how come they didn't come to defend themselves? I said, babe. Really? You asking me that question? They are totally. They knew they had the inner cities. The Democrats. It would take somebody like me, you, to get out, like, and our brown businessmen in suits to get our community, which they did, especially in the South. They came out talking like, look, we got to go Republican. I'm sorry, we got to vote Republican. And it took us to come out and do that. Otherwise, the Democrats with the fake black Europeans running around getting all of them to vote. Ooh, girl, Section 8. Ooh, girl. That's them. Same thing as Stokely Carmichael did, going on the southern lands to people with these big, huge farms. Ooh, you can move in the inner city and have a better life. You ain't got to, you can pay, you get lights and gas and all this stuff free to get them off their beautiful land that they could have been growing organic fruits on and eating and be much healthy.
Original.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that his name? Yeah, I think it's Stokey. He's from the islands. The guy that went, what is that his name? Copper.
Yeah, Stokely Carmichael.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they did that crap because the woman was in the house alone with the kids because the husbands was away in the service fighting in drafted wars. So that's how they got to the women.
Exactly.
You know, the husband come home from the army and he live in the damn hood. What happened, babe? So now they drinking and then they can't adapt to, they're having a hard time adapting to city life. So what do? They turn to drugs and alcohol, clubbing, losing all their original Southern mindset of being the head of the house. So all this went down, but I disagree with King Kapala. That kind of rhetoric that you're talking now is
that's Democratic rhetoric, blood.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what you're talking about.
I have to disagree with you because what you're talking is what the Democrats taught us. They poisoned the minds of the people in our community. Facts.
Have him go pull up redlining and then see what party brought up redlining, because it wasn't the Republicans.
Facts. Times have changed. People have changed. Mindsets have changed.
Look, my man, Kapala.
I ain't worried about Dr. Claude Anderson.
No disrespect, brother. But you're going to have to go back across the street over there with them Democrats.
Word.
Go cry your tears over there.
We're not even on that vibe. We're not on that vibe over here.
Nope. We spoke of strengthening.
And them brothers that's talking about start our own country. I can't even rock with them. I'm serious. And I'm just tired of that too. I'm done.
Oh man, we got Anthony Williams from Henderson, North Carolina. You from right there where my grandma from.
Yeah, he won. He was so happy about winning North Carolina Trump. He was so happy. He liked North Carolina.
I know he do.
You know he had South Carolina too. Scott had him on lock.
Yeah, both them states cleaned house, didn't they?
Yep.
What's that Democratic congressman or senator? What's his name? That other foreign European black guy. What's his name?
Where? In what state?
In South Carolina. He always trying to play like he all for the Geechees down there, and all the time he in there helping them steal the Geechee land.
Oh, wait a minute. Who are you talking about?
That old brother.
Scott, are you?
Huh? What's his name?
You're not talking about Tim Scott because he's Republican.
No. He's a black Democrat.
And his birthday is the same day as mine, Tim Scott.
Not Tim Scott. Not Tim. No, I'm talking about the older brother, the real older brother from South Carolina. wears glasses, and they cornered him up one day talking about reparations, and he took off running like a runaway slave. Yeah, Jim Clyburn. That's him. Yes, indeed.
I gotta look up his picture.
Oh yeah, this guy got a. I'm not sure if he won or not. I hope he didn't.
Oh wow.
He
looked like Heat Miser. Wait a minute, hold up. Let me show.
No, he looked like Uncle Ruckus, but he got 2 eyes.
You said he wearing
looking like Uncle Ruckus.
Years old.
Yeah, looking like Uncle Ruckus. Look at him. Pull a picture of Uncle Ruckus up and then put it next to his and see what I'm talking about.
I say the same thing about that. I think she's South Carolina. She's like Tweety Bird. What's her name? Lightfoot. She looked like Tweety Bird.
No, she a Portuguese. She one of them Portuguese. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, I'm gonna call them out.
The link is pinned to the top. It's pinned to the top. Anybody welcome to join the panel. And give your agree or disagree. But the Democrats have our people so lost with hope that you get comments like, it's so bad. You get comments like what King Kapala puts up, the loss of hope. I can tell you one thing. You know what? I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to say it. But
man, I like Kapala. I be wanting a party, but you got to tell me no. You got your people mixed up, buddy. I'm a jazz man, so if I want a party, I know where to go party.
Oh, Max the Priest said she looked like Beetlejuice. I think she looked like Tweety Bird. I'm gonna put her up. I'm not gonna lie. She look like
Beetlejuice. She do look like Beetlejuice.
But okay, I'm gonna pull both of them up. Well, I have to put. Go ahead, you got it. I'm gonna have to pull this up.
Yeah, Kampala got his people mixed up.
You got it. While I get this up. Now we got to restore our job. We got to restore the hope back in our people because they really lost hope under this Democratic Party. And I'm serious. It's just the party not to be. I'm sorry. That's her little face. Travel page setup. But overall, what do you call it? Copper Aborigines. The first step is getting on the phone with the Republicans and ask them, speaking with them, having conversations about how can we keep this party strong? What do we need to do? I'm telling you, take it from there.
I'll tell you like this. What needs to be done first and foremost is that we got to pull up the policies that we want changed and then speak with those representatives, the Congress, and the Senate. And speak on those policies to get them changed. Once we can get them changed and get them out of there, this country will flow. It'll flow and grow like a flower in the springtime.
But that's why you got to have those conversations with them.
Yeah, but you can't have a conversation with them if you don't know what the policy is. And that's why you got to print the policies off and read them and then make the phone call. You don't want to be calling them sounding like a babbling idiot.
Right.
You want to really sound intelligent when you're speaking to them people, because you got to remember something. The majority, if not all of them, are lawyers.
Right.
Every last one of them. So you can't come to them speaking like you come off the street.
Right.
You got to be able to speak their language so they can understand you.
Right. And And it's not about talking white. It's about talking so people
It,
can understand what you're saying. That's all.
absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking intelligent doesn't mean you got to act like you're someone that you're not. Just be yourself. But as you're being yourself, have the policies right in front of you and speak to them one policy at a time. That's all. And plant the seed in them because you're out here. They're representing you. This is what you have to realize. They work for you, and you have to make sure that they're working for you, meaning all of us. So when we flood their phone lines, trust me, it works. I'm gonna give you an example. Some of y'all might remember this. Some years ago, and I'm gonna take it off subject in a sense, but it's on the same level. During the epidemic, as it was fading out, some of y'all might remember there was a heavyweight championship that was supposed to be fought in June. And some kind of way it got moved to October. Well, the other heavyweight ended up leaving the country because they wanted to cycle off of a drug that they were on. So they made the excuse that his wife was having a baby in the UK. So he had to leave. So he comes back. But before he comes back, the top rank was making all kind of excuses. Well, all of us who are boxing fans, we started flooding the Congress office.
Hold up, Copper. Rainey, is that you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
Go ahead,
we
Copper. Hey, Chief. The link is pinned to the top, Chief. Go ahead, Copper. Finish, and then
so all of us boxing fans, we flooded the congressman's office and had the FBI get involved in the investigating of this particular boxing organization. Well, come to find out through the investigation, this particular promoter paid $8 million to some crooks over there in Europe. And right now, that guy, whoever he is, he's on the run. And he's been on the run for the last couple of years from the UK police department or their FBI unit over there, whoever they call them. But anyway, to make my point is we have to call these Congress people with them policies so you know what you're talking about when you're talking to them. Because if you don't, you'll get hung up on. Then you're going to be upset.
Well, they don't really hang up on you. They do, ask you to try to gather your story and send them an email if you can't really talk about. But what we can do, people like myself, what we could do is, put the policies out on our website where our people could go and look and read the policies.
Yeah, because if we're more informed, it's better. It's way better when you're more informed because we may have to put together an act so it can become a bill that becomes law. You just never know.
Right. But the thing about it, we want our people to also be educated. Like the laws that Congress passed, it doesn't stick to a state because of the 10th Amendment. Well, what they do is advise the states. For the most part, the states implement their policies in their state, but they implement it. They don't have to. Like for one thing, the gender thing with where men can and women can be on each other's sports. Each state is different. Like in Connecticut, they can. Hey, see Moses, in Connecticut, men, people that were born men can be on girls' teams if they identify as a man. I mean, if they were born as a man, and if they just simply, even if they don't have the surgery to be transitioned into a woman, they could, if as long as they identify as a woman, they can join women's teams if that's who they identify as.
That's so dangerous, and I'm gonna tell you why.
It is, but what
No,
can
I'm
you
gonna
do?
take you on
We
another
don't,
level.
right?
I'm gonna say why on another level why it's dangerous. The reason why I say it's dangerous is, hypothetically, argument breaks out in the house. The police come. Now that male that's there done jumped on that woman. He now identifies himself as a woman. What do you do?
I don't know,
See,
but if the
that's
state
what I'm
passes
talking
it,
about.
there's nothing you can do. If the state passes it, there's nothing you could do. Really, literally, there's nothing you could do.
That's why I said it's
Hey,
dangerous.
hey, Rainey, what's up, girl?
Hey,
What
OCO
up, Copper?
everyone.
Hey,
Um, what got me really ticked off was that they tried to not show our people out here really voting for Trump. You know, they tried to make it seem like everybody was on board, 80-90% for Kamala, and that was a whole lie. There was no way those states could be fully red all the way through. You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
And
exactly.
we have so many people who look like us coming up in these chat rooms, trying to discourage people, making it seem like, okay, this side don't care about you and that side don't care about you neither, but not giving up no facts as to how the country was much better when Trump was in office the first time. And I'm like, y'all act like this man finna come in here and take everything. Y'all wasn't there on the plantation the first time. You on there now? You
Hey,
gonna be put on there?
Sister
That's how
Rainey,
the Democrats have their minds controlled.
Sister
Exactly.
Rainey,
That's why they think that way.
Yes.
Sister Rainey, and Sister Bethy, hold on a second, please.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, King Kampala, we don't identify as no damn Native Americans. We identify as American Indians. Get your language straight, or the next time you put something in the chat like that, I'm gonna put you out.
That part.
Now go ahead and do it again, and I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. You got one more time to come out to write something that darn stupid. We don't identify as no Native Americans. We identify as American Indian. You got that? Now take your African behind back over there to Africa, because your flip-flop wearing behind is up out of here too as an immigrant. Now, okay, ladies, I apologize, sisters.
No problem. I'm glad
That's
you said
okay.
it.
That's okay. That's fine. I mean, I can't do nothing to my wrench holders. They do shoot with the wrenches. Ain't nothing I can do. Ain't nothing I'm gonna do, because that's why they got them.
All right, y'all. Next time you put something in the chat and it ain't right, shoot him up out of there. Show him we got snipers in the chat now.
There it is. So, I was very happy that Trump acknowledged in his campaign, acknowledged the overwhelming amount of our people that left, they might, even if they didn't leave the Democratic Party, they voted Republican. They're tired.
Right.
They acknowledged it. But what they would not show is, like you said, Rainey, they would not show our people going to those polls to vote for Trump. I didn't like that. But we already know that they did, because the map wouldn't be the way it is, all red.
Right. Exactly. And I've seen so many videos of these sisters. Oh my goodness. When I say they said the most disrespectful thing to our brothers because they was out there voting for Trump, as if terrible things wouldn't already happen to our brothers out here in these streets. by the
Yeah.
hands of police. I mean, they were saying some real foul stuff as if the division between uh, our male and females isn't
A
enough.
smoke signal.
You know, that just made me like, uh, half of these people probably didn't even go out to vote, number one.
Right.
Okay. And then don't do no research, don't know nothing of their family's history, period, to begin,
Mhm.
and then got all of this flack to flare out. I mean, this one chick, she was at her steering wheel. I mean, she bouncing her head back and forth, hitting the steering collar. She just, I can't believe, I laughed so doggone hard
Oh, that
because
was
I could
funny.
not believe how some of our people were out here acting. It was really
Yep. But then
ridiculous.
again, a lot of them are not our people. They're not from the mainland. They're not us.
Exactly. That's true.
They're
That's
not us. That's the whole trick in the Democratic Party. All the brown people are not the original mainland American Indians. They're not us.
Wait a minute,
AKA
wait a minute, Sister Bethany.
Kamala,
Call it
Kamala
what it is.
Harris.
Call it what it is.
Kamala
Call it what
Harris
it
is
is.
not us. And
Remember,
you gotta
they told
understand.
us who they are. They told us who they are. People of color. This is what they've been. This is the code word they're using. Everybody gotta realize this. They're using people of color. They're not using black. They're not using anything. They're using that term.
examples
People
though.
of
I
color.
know people personally who are our people who
No,
felt the same exact way that these women on these videos were displaying. So
Mm.
I see it all. I know exactly where y'all coming from. Okay? It's all of them out here that's acting a whole ass if you really want to get to the run of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They're not doing none of their research. They can't tell you nothing about this woman ain't push out not one policy for us.
facts.
Facts.
Not
Facts.
one. Okay. She said, "Oh, we'll pass. We won't. We'll make weed legal and crap like that." You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
everybody don't smoke. Everybody don't drink. Come on with something better than that. I didn't hear her say
Exactly.
nothing that was gonna benefit the sisters at all. But they
Facts.
came out. They was dropping them bags for this chick.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
amazed at the stupidity that was out here.
Yep. A lot of, like, again, I'm gonna keep going back. A lot of the people that you think is us ain't us. They
Exactly.
pretend to be us, but ain't us. They not us culturally. Get out of
Mhm.
here. They not. They look like us, but nope.
Yeah.
You can't tell. You can't tell. That's why they were able to come in and deceitfully put on garments like our ancestors and blend right in with us.
hmm But the
And
only thing, it failed. It failed so wonderfully.
I'm so
It-
glad it did.
yes,
Failed.
it failed wonderfully. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I'm just looking forward to getting on to bigger and better things, and for at least some of it, to return back to some type of normalcy because it's just ridiculous out here.
Yep.
For the
And you know
price,
what? One of my main goals since this party in strengthening this party, we got to start combating against Democrat leaders or those that the Democrats put in public eye to be role models for us, aka Sexy Red. She
Mhm.
ain't no role model for my daughter and my people. Neither is Beyonce. I like her music, but no. And these Nicki Minaj's and all these
Cardi B's.
yeah,
sexual, these are not.
yeah,
That's what the Democrats throw up in, like, basically. So basically, they're saying, well, you don't really have no real Democratic leader for you, because we don't. To keep it a buck, we never had a real Democrat that lead us right. Al Sharpton don't lead us right. Neither did Jesse Jackson. They allow them to put these false labels on us. Okay.
Yeah.
Obama, they're not our real role models and representatives. So because we know we lacked real democratic representation, they decided, okay, we'll go with the way they community act. Let's put people up there that they admire. So what did they throw? They threw out the Kardashians. They threw out all these sex symbol people. And next thing you know, they're singing at their little political parties. They don't represent me.
Yeah. It was.
Well, they grouped
And
them
the
all
girl,
up.
Sexy
Yeah, they
Red,
did.
that Candace Owens show talking about about the abortion thing. You don't control my coochie. That's not representative of me.
Mm-hmm.
Not even speaking like that in public. It's not. So we got to say, oh, you ain't leading me politically. Now, you're going to play your music. I like your music. But politically, no, you do not. You're not a representative for me.
Facts, Sister Bethy.
So when we get ready to go for real representation, we have to go to the real Republican leaders that represent us, not these because you're shaking your butt and showing your boobs and your fake boob job and your fake butt job. You're not representing me politically. I'm going to the real person that's the Republican representative of me, not y'all. So that's what we got to fix too. We got to start letting them know. I'm sorry if it might mess with their little ego or their little what do you call it? Their little confidence. But you're not gonna do it.
I'd like to know when has white actors or white musicians ever stood up in their communities and was in representation of their community.
They got Willie Nelson, the weed smoker.
No, you remember he did farm aid. He's a farmer. When I say that, I'm saying like the same way that the black so-called black entertainers and of such do. They're all on television telling us how to vote and all this other kind of mess. You don't see them on TV and all that mess doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they don't do it, but you just don't see it.
Right.
We ain't not sitting at them people's tables when they talking, but they sure sitting at your table when they talking because your table outdoors.
Mm-hmm. I like Frida's little message she gave earlier. I was laughing because with the identity thing she said, because she identify as a rich woman. What did she write? It was funny. Here it is. She said, can I identify as a rich woman, go into a bank and get $1 million loan?
Yeah, I saw that. I was rolling when she wrote that. I was cracking up.
That is, honey, let me know if it worked for you. So I'll be right behind you in my little fake silk.
Radical call for God. That's not true.
What happened?
Where she wrote, Congress people don't listen. Yes, they do listen.
Yes, they do. They do. And that's one thing I could say, the difference between a person at the federal level, and they need to fix this, versus a congressman, okay, versus a state senator and state representative. The congressmen do listen, and they do call you, and they do respond back to you. They do.
You better believe they do.
State level senators and representatives versus congressmen and congresswomen. They will call you personally back, and that's the truth.
My personal experience,
especially with Republican ones.
We got one Democrat who she ain't to be played with, and that's right here in Michigan. I know, because I had my experience with the lady And when I was having trouble on the block with a busted water main, and the city, Northern County, wanted to come out and do anything about it, I called Rashida Tlaib's office, and her daughter answered the phone. I told her because she had her mother give me a call. 15 minutes later, Rashida was on that phone. I told Rashida what was going on. Rashida said to me, she said, give me 20 minutes, just 20 minutes, and I'm going to call you back. She called me back. Told
Republican,
no, she a Democrat.
No, but I'm talking about as far as you don't get that often from Democrat senators, local, state, but Republican state senators will call you back personally. They will.
I will agree.
Same at the federal level. Congress, a Republican congressman will call you back directly. They ain't like somebody. They don't throw somebody in their office to call you back. They dial the numbers and call you. They do.
Well, I was just gonna say, the very next day, there was earth movers out there busting up that ground and fixing that pipe up under the ground. I don't know whose head was gonna roll that they wanted to have all that water running down the street like that. But hey, she got that stopped and got all that repaired. So there are good Democrats, but you got to know who they are. There's some terrible ones. Yeah. Lord knows there's some terrible ones.
I am so done with that party for life. My focus over here is going to be making the Republican Party powerful.
Because I would agree.
That's going to be my focus, keeping them powerful, because we got a fresh start with them and being in power, and to build stronger relationships with Republicans, wiping out everything you were taught negatively about them that the Democrats have taught. That's my whole goal over here. That's what I do. That's what I do. All that energy and burnout that I put in for the Democrats, I so regret it. I do. I so regret it. Oh, y'all got it. The link is pinned to the top. Anybody that want to join the panel, you got it. Okay.
Radical call for God. Please come up on the panel.
Oh, before you go, Rainey. Oh, I got to show y'all this. Here we go. You got Tweety Bird and Beetlejuice, right?
Oh my goodness.
You told me to put it up.
Sister Bethany, you gotta pull that back off. Oh my goodness.
Tell me to put that.
Look at her hairline. Look at the hairline. The hairline look exactly alike. God, dog. Oh my goodness.
I think
you got to do James Clyburn. You got to do James Clyburn and Uncle Ruckus. Oh man, this is really gonna be fun.
Tweedlejuice, I'm done.
Oh man, she had.
I can't do it.
She had Lightfoot, Tweety Bird,
and Beetlejuice. I said, y'all make
Beetlejuice. All three of them together. God, dog. Oh Lord, have mercy. Oh, man, my stomach hurting.
Y'all was on the ballot, certain parts of it says who's Democrat and who's Republican, right? Then when you get to another section where it's you vote for your judges and so on and so forth, but they don't have whether they represent Democrat or Republican, right? So I did my homework before I went to go vote. I wrote down every single person that was in here,
right on,
that was being on the ballot, right? Of course, they don't let you come in with those pamphlets, right? Because they always tell you can't bring that in here. And a lot of people don't remember the names of the people that they voted for, so they take that type of stuff in there with them. But I got smart on them this time. I wrote everything down on paper. So the brother tried to come
You
up.
can write the cheat sheet on your hand like we did in school.
The brother walked up to me, an older gentleman. He said, "Ma'am, you can't use that." I said, "Can't use what?" I said, "I wrote this down. What do you mean I can't use this?" He said, "You can't use this." I said, "Explain to me why I cannot refer to the paper that I wrote down myself for the people who I'm voting for. I'm not just going to be in here pushing buttons for people and don't know who they are." So he calls over a white guy. And I look and I'm still pushing buttons like, who the hell is he? I'm still pushing buttons. What's going on here? I got the paper and my notebook in my hand. I'm like, this is my writings, my words, and I'm referring to who I wrote down as to who I'm going to vote for. And the brother looked and he was like, he told the white guy, look, just step away. Step away. You goddamn right. Step away. Now, meantime, everybody in there trying to figure out what button they gonna push because it
what
don't.
state you in, Rainey?
I'm in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm in Indiana. I'm originally from Chicago.
Mm.
Well, I'm not surprised that they're a Democratic state anyway, but that's neither here nor there.
But you was pushing buttons.
Yeah, they in there pushing buttons, don't know who they pushing buttons for when it comes down to who the judges are, this and the other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna be in there no blind leading the blind, but y'all can tell me I can't refer to my own writings, but you got a vote for Kamala signs all out in front of the damn building.
Well, they tell you that you can't wear like, say like I wanted to walk in there with my Make America Great Again hat or my Trump card. Because I got a Trump card. It looks like a credit card. Girl, I almost used that to get some cigarettes. And I swiped the wrong thing. But anyway,
Lord.
what's that wrong card? Sorry. But girl, now what if it hadn't said approved? I would have died. Like, wait, you mean to tell me I had money on this damn Trump card all these years? I had it. Broke as I was. But
goodness. But why do they have it like that? Why they don't say who?
Because of persuasion. I'm like, you can't wear no Make America Great Again hat when you go in there to vote.
As far as the judges go, like if it's got the judges on there or sheriffs on there or whoever that's trying to stay in their office official duties. Okay, why does it state if they're Republican or Democrat? I understand the other ones.
They're supposed to remain mutual.
Okay.
They're supposed to remain mutual because they're strictly for the interpretation of the law. That's what judges do, is they interpret the law.
Right. That's why
they got to stay mutual. They can't, be boasting there, whatever.
Right. That's why I was trying to look up every single judge, sheriff running out here, whatever it is they got. I was looking them all up.
I made sure. I know I couldn't wear my any of my Trump gear, but I damn sure wore a big red shirt because I busted the doors. They probably was like, "Hey, Kool-Aid, yup, I'm coming." I played it safe and just did it all the way across.
Yeah. Well, the red shirt said it all.
I know, right? And I wanted to make sure that it wasn't a go down thing or a cross, because you go up to them, you ask them like, "Wait, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Is it across the whole Republican and Democrat, or is it down?" Because they'll fool you, and we can't tell you that because that's telling us. Then we're telling you that you vote. I'm like, okay, I already knew all of. It's good to go in there knowing all the names, but I knew all the names all the way across, and I went all the way across. I ain't give a damn.
And the crazy part is my sister went in before me. Of course, she voted for Kamala. She voted for Kamala. And I finished up before she did. She was still there trying to figure out stuff. You know, I said, yeah, you should have wrote the shit down. They were so shocked. They was like, ma'am, are you finished? I said, yeah, because I knew who I was voting for. And I walked clean on the side of there.
They saw me with the big red shirt. And I mean, you talking about I had a big red shirt. I know they was like, oh, hey, Kool-Aid. I was coming.
Yeah, I played it a little different than you did, Sister Bethy. Mine wasn't so obvious. At least I hope it wasn't. But I walked in with that red leather cap on my head.
Oh, it was obvious. It was obvious. Everything said that they got a bullseye on you.
And you know, they didn't like it because when I showed them, I said, I want to make sure that I'm voting Republican all the way across. Is it all the way across or down?
Yeah.
And then he looked like, no, this brown lady didn't come in here talking about, you can't, I can't tell you. And they looking at me, why is she voting for him? This is why. You're the reason why. I would have said it, but he just gave like the stank look. Like, oh, I'm so shocked. Why?
Right. I know they was fully gassed up because when they seen my paper, it's got Republicans straight across the goddamn top. And I didn't care who saw it. I didn't care who saw it. Do you hear me?
I said, there is no way that I'm gonna lay up in my bed and not walk. Right?
Brother saw it on my page and literally was like, "You're voting for the KKK? Are you crazy?" I said, "Nigga, you ain't never voted for a day in your life, and you talking about the KKK?"
Wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. You're in the Democratic Party. You are the. Excuse me. Go. That's another thing the Democrats told us, that the Republicans were the KKK. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all created it. Let's look it up.
You started. They were the Dixiecrats. They were the Dixiecrats.
And they still act like, now I see why their management is like that in private and public sectors. They manage like KKK people. I see why.
That's right. And they done got co-opted. They done got co-opted by our people this time. See, it seemed like everybody else been knowing about it but us. But now that we done woke up, the people of that Democratic Party is
I don't care how sick I am or how tired I am, I'm going to vote for this man. I was there at 5:30 in the morning. And I knocked on the door because it said open. And like, oh, it's open for registration, not for voting. I was like, okay. I sat right in my car for a half hour, drinking my coffee. Then we go back in there. And she said, oh, you don't vote here. You're just registering here. You have to go to your district. So I said, this lady is lucky that I'm in the mood to vote. Right. So we drove. It wasn't far. It was like, it was less than a mile. So we went running and walked on in. And what I did was empty too, because a lot of people did early voting. Right.
I think we got there about 11 o'clock, and it was still quite empty. I said it couldn't have been no more than, it was less than 10 people on the inside of that building when I got there, when my sister and I arrived there. So I'm just glad that all of this is done and over with, and we can move forward and just let it be. You know what I'm saying? As far as we got to come together to now form a tightness. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's so loose around here with the rhetoric. You know, and it's kind of like pinning. Now it's kind of like pinning us against us. You see? Right. It don't make no sense. Just keep this in your head. Everybody that's brown that's on the Democratic Party ain't you.
So they ain't pinning you against you. They pinning you against people who you thought was you, the same as
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But the focus
That.
over here for the next 4 years,
Mhm.
is going to be educating my community on how to establish and how to go about establishing relationships with Republicans politically.
Right.
This is what you do. We have to teach them.
Yeah.
We got to teach them. Because if we don't teach them, they're not going to know. If I didn't pull up the history of the Republican Party so that this can be publicly known, we got it. We have to be the ones to teach this.
Yeah.
All our lives, we've been teaching our people about the Democratic movement. Now we got to teach them about the real movement and how to keep it strong so that the Republicans are not out of office for decades, 2 damn decades of not being in power. We got to keep them in power.
Well, I'm going to say this before you finish. Now, what you just said brings something back to mind. Now it makes sense. Excuse me. Now it makes sense why the NAACP was against the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Because the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was Republican.
Yeah.
That's why it makes sense to me now. Now it makes sense, because had you not said that, it wouldn't have never clicked.
Yeah. Sorry, Pastor, but we got a fresh start because it would make no sense for me to educate our people on building the Democratic Party for what? For what?
Right.
After all we've been through. Right. We got a fresh start. We got a fresh start with the Republicans. Not misguided by the Democrats. So now let's make the party strong by working with them on policies. Now we'll work with them because Democrats, it's a lost cause. I'm sorry. It's like leading our people to where? To hell.
You so right. You are so right.
I refuse to do that.
Yeah.
Do you all remember the movie A Time to Kill?
Yep.
Mhm.
I've been voting Republican since that movie.
See.
Yeah. When you go look at that movie, you can, there's some things that's going on in that movie that'll wake you up for real. Especially now that many of you all are awake. Go back and look at that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And look at them people. Look at them people on that jury. And listen to Matthew McConaughey. And then look at how that preacher was talking to Samuel Jackson's wife while he was locked up. Listen what that old man said from the NAACP.
Oh.
And look at the deal that they wanted to make with Samuel L. Jackson. Go take a look at that movie. Look at that movie with the
NAACP. You want the NAA? We got a lot.
No. That's not what I said. I said
no. I understand what you were saying. What I'm saying is we have a lot to do when I say strengthen the Republican Party.
No, I agree.
We need to put Black Republicans in
office.
NAACP.
No. The NAACP is who was killing us. See, they made it. Look, the two organizations back in the day was the NAACP. Then Dr. Martin Luther King and his Republican people put together what is called the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Well, the NAACP hated them. So after the death of Dr. Martin Luther King and the rest of the 5 or 6 were being killed off, this is when the NAACP stepped up as though they were the leaders of our people. But they were keeping us in an enslaved position
Correct.
until yesterday, mind you. Now the NAACP ain't came out and said a word. Normally they be saying a whole lot. Well, their news people were on the news crying like I don't know what. I don't know if y'all were watching them, but those are NAACP folks. All of them.
Well, we got a lot of work to do when it comes to transitioning our people to strengthen the Republican Party. We even have to get our people to watch Republican news stations. Seriously, because people like Roland Martin, Al Sharpton on MSNBC, we have to move our people away from watching their rhetoric news. We got to move them to more Republican, listening to Republican stations. We got a clean house. When I tell you clean house, if you went and voted Republican, you shouldn't even be watching any Democratic.
All of them that you just named are NAACP members. All of them.
We got to switch them to Republican stations.
Well, right now, we're the largest Republican station right now.
President Trump tells you what station to watch. If you listen to, he tells you what stations to watch. Yep. I remember a Republican. His name is Jim Vicevich, because I was a hardcore Democrat. He told me live on his station when I called in that he said, Bethy, I just know you and the way you act. You're a Democrat now, but you're going to be a Republican. And I just swore to him. I said, oh, no, I'm not. Wait a minute. I even gave him the chicken head shake. No, I'm not going to be oh, no. Honey, I got to call him back and tell him you never lied. I would have never thought I would be a Republican because I was so indoctrinated by Democrats. So now I don't even know. Oh, I hope he is still alive. But I got to call him and say, do you know that I've been a Republican since Trump came in office and campaigned for him? All three.
Mm-hmm.
A time to kill is what did it for me.
Because I used to call Rush Limbaugh all the time and he would let me in. Hold on, Bethy. Oh, I miss him. I miss Rush Limbaugh. Oh, man. And they call him Ray. He was not racist.
Not at all.
Man, black security guards. So get the hell out of here. I used to have fun talking to Rush Limbaugh. I miss him. And when he announces, oh man, I was so hurt.
I did not know that he wasn't. I thought, like a lot of us did, that he was racist.
Yeah, that's what the Democrats told us because his station was so popular. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the phone. I would leave my desk at work, go on my break and call Rush up. My break, he let me right through because he knew my zip code.
Right.
Yep. Same thing with Jim Vicevich.
They would keep our people Democrats through the radio stations.
We had a Republican governor, and I ain't even on front. I really liked him, and I still do. Smart as a whip. Unfortunately, he went to prison and stuff. Roland. I still like Roland. I'm not even gonna lie. I used to be against him and argue with him, but I still like him.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Sister Bethy, so much for letting me speak.
Yeah, I'm about to get up out of here too because I've been on for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
If anybody want to come on the panel, now is the time because I'm about to close it down.
Well, the Democrats been run out of the chat
because they know they ain't got a stance over here, and a lot of people, in YouTube will not, will halfway deal with me now because I don't push the more stuff. I don't I don't push all that sovereign movement stuff. Never. I hate it. And I am standing on this system. And I don't care. I don't
No,
care.
because it's the truth.
It costs you friends, but they're not my friends. They're not my friends. So I could care less if they don't want to shout me out or speak to me. I don't care.
All it does is shoot at you. That's all it does.
Exactly. There's a lot of people outside of YouTube that I deal with. So I mean, I don't come in here because I don't follow your rhetoric. Sorry, I don't care. I'm not your friend anyway.
Right.
Listen, you know the reason why they would be like
friends
that.
on YouTube. I don't care.
They've been like that ever since the majority of us screamed out American Indian to start with. This is when the attacks started.
Yeah.
This is where the separation came into play. This is where it was brought down to the foundation when we started using and saying and claiming we are the American Indians. Like I had to do in the chat. When that guy said Native American, I had to jump on him because you're not going to get us in trouble with the Native Americans. We never said we were Native Americans, ever.
Never said we were Native Americans, ever.
We had to get that cleared up with them.
We were two different people.
That's right. And you notice he ain't said nothing since.
But Congress did know. Remember the lady? She said the increase of American Indians.
Yes.
On the census sheet. Yeah, it's been a
huge
yeah.
That's
you
right.
Put us as black. Well, you labeled us and classified us as black on census sheets, but we're putting back to what you first labeled us as. Because even Indian is a label, but that's who you first labeled us as.
Right.
So we removed it. So now when we complete all our forms and stuff, we're putting down the real, because I don't like being called a black. My shirt is black. However, my skin, how many shades lighter am I than black?
Shoot, too many to count.
Those was fight words back in the day. I know.
Yes, they were.
But when we ready to fight, doggone it. Who you calling black? Your mama
Ain't
black.
That the truth? Ain't that the truth?
And who took our identity from us and gave us
Jesse Jackson?
No,
Jesse
even before
Jackson.
Before him in 1830, it was Democrats.
Well, wait a minute. I'm saying that most of our people wasn't using it back then. You go to that concert. You go to this concert on that album cover, because both of y'all on here and you're old enough to know. Your parents had that concert in their homes. It was called Watt Stacks. You will hear Jesse Jackson making the statement in there. There's over 100,000 people at that concert in Watts, California, and he makes that statement saying, "Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud." He pumping his fist, and all you gotta do is listen to it, and then you start looking at the crowd because it's live. If you can pull it up on YouTube, you can see the whole thing live. And all of a sudden, you start looking at people pumping their fists out there, saying it first. They were first to pronounce it, and it went all over the country after that. I'm talking after that, because I had been about maybe 10. And I was like, wait a minute. At that time, I knew I was a Negro. I didn't know nothing about no black. You call me black, I'm a bust you in your eye.
Look, I just looked at my grandmother's old census records from 1910, and they had them listed as black on there. Okay?
On the census records.
Mine says, even on the death certificate and birth certificate, it says colored. It do not say.
Mine says colored.
Look, theirs got 3 different labels on there. Theirs got black, Negro, and my grandfather's, on my mother's father's side, they had his mother as mulatto. When she wasn't mixed at all, she was just a high yellow sister with long hair. Okay, we got her down as mulatto. On the other census record I just come across, and I'm trying to figure out how to straighten that out, because they got my father's mother name on there, but got her as a male. Okay, so they
That's
ain't
messed
screwing
up.
up all type of stuff when it comes to them records. You know,
Well,
it's just
see, you
trying to get
said
it
census
now.
record. We're talking about the state records. What I'm saying
Yeah,
is the
but
state
I'm
record.
saying they've been calling you black long before Jesse Jackson even started that old crap. They've been
No, I'm
No,
not
calling
in
you black.
they
disagreement with
started.
you, sister. I'm
They
not in
started.
disagreement,
They
but I'm
started
saying
black in 1830. And
yes.
Hmm.
that's exactly when they started it, because 1830 was the Indian Removal Act,
Thank
and
you.
they
Hmm.
Yes.
order all the Indians to go to Oklahoma. And a
And
lot of our
recorded them as black.
ancestors, and a lot of our ancestors said, "Hell no, we ain't going to no Oklahoma." They stayed. So then the Democrats, what they say, all right, you'll become citizens in your state of
Hmm.
residence. Next thing you know, they put us as black on the census sheet to
Thank you.
distinguish us from the Indians that stayed to the ones that left. Now, you're Indian if you're on the reservation, you're Indian. But when you
Right.
come and live in the state, you're no longer the Indian, you're black. That's what
Hmm.
they did to us.
And that's how they
Hmm.
stole the land. That's exactly
That's
how
what
they
they
got it.
did. That's what they did to us. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Because you
I'm
can
not.
tax black, you can't tax an Indian.
And first of all, back in 1830, okay, if you're not a damn slave, okay. If you was African, they would have put that down.
Yeah.
You was Indian, they would have put that down. You because you wasn't an African.
Exactly. And on
You
top of
wanted,
that, they made
you wanted
sure.
the Indians. You wanted the Indians that stayed. And how do you know this? Because your daddy, your granddaddies, all of them joined the Union. Some joined the Union Army. Some joined the Confederate Army. Now, for
Fact.
my situation, I had both. Some of my family was
Me
fighting
too.
on the Union side. Some of them fought on the Confederate side. So I grabbed
Hmm.
all the documents, because that's sentimental. Because once they put all the people as black on the goddamn census sheets, all the Indians disappeared. They all
Yeah.
disappeared.
Yeah.
That's how they disappeared. He's like, where all the Indians go if they didn't go to Oklahoma? They disappeared when they put them as blacks on the census sheets.
Hmm.
Not gonna make me disappear. I'm gonna reappear. I'm reappearing. Now I'm American Indian. You're not gonna put that on me just because a state can do what it wants to its subject. I'm not your damn slave.
The pen is mightier than the
I'm a
sword. There it
citizen. I'm a
is.
citizen, and you do what I tell you to do. I don't know. You have jurisdiction, but that don't mean you can label me with such harsh names, like they do. No, you're not doing that to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, on that note, I love y'all, and I'll be back to teach about
Love you
how
too.
to develop. Right, I'll be back to teach. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop. It's gonna be 4 years of this.
Yes.
How to develop those positive relationships with Republicans, individual Republicans. Even, you got to start having these conversations, and I'm gonna guide them on how to do that. A lot of our people have been so brainwashed and indoctrinated about the Republican Party. So now
Yeah.
it's up to us to put the truth out there to them. And then next time we go around for an election, Republicans won't be reluctant to come to our communities to speak. And we're going to fix that so that they will feel more comfortable now giving speeches in our community. Because now you got Republicans now in our community, in our
Right.
inner cities, So
Right.
now we welcome you. They don't have to feel unwelcome anymore. But anyway, you guys, I love you guys. I'm going to get out of here and go get myself some dinner. Yeah, I know I done messed up and ate something I wasn't supposed to. But my acid reflux. Because I was like, I don't care. I'm going to suffer it, but I'm going to eat it. I was so hungry.
Hey,
And I'm
Sister
going to
Betsy, before you go, You mentioned acid reflux, right? You want to cure acid reflux right quick?
But it's kind of hard when you don't have a gallbladder. I don't have a gallbladder.
Well, I was going to tell you, just take 2 teaspoons of white vinegar, and that's it.
Yeah, right. Oh, I know. I do. I take the vinegar sometimes, but I'm okay now. Once I drink a lot of water, it just goes away. Because I refuse to take acid reflux medicine because one of the side effects is Alzheimer's and dementia, and I don't want it. I'm gonna remember all this shit.
I know that's right. No, I just said that white vinegar because years ago I had that. I was having the same issue, and I thank my grandmother because she did give me them 2 teaspoons of white vinegar, right?
Yeah.
Boy, that's some nasty stuff. I'm telling y'all.
But when it go down, it feels so good because it feel like it's pushing our acid down.
It is, and I haven't had it since, and that was back in 1988. I ain't had it since.
And it also lowers blood pressure if you have high blood pressure. I don't have high
Me
blood
neither.
pressure. I don't have it. I do not have high blood pressure. Knock on wood. I'm so grateful for that. But anyway, you guys, I love y'all so much, but I'm gonna get out of here.
Because somebody around here likes to make their own pizza, if you get my drift.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I ain't saying it. I ain't gonna say it I ain't gonna say it in their face. I ain't gonna do that. Because the police might have to show up. And it ain't gonna be for it ain't gonna have to show up for me to get me up out of here, to help me out or something. So I ain't gonna do that.
I mean, I gotta be good.
Nice chatting with y'all. I'm out of here.
It was, Rainy. Come back, baby girl, again. I'll be back.
All right, peace, y'all.
Love y'all. I'm on out of here.